Hello and welcome to the Nash Tackle Off the Hook podcast. Just to make you aware, this podcast may contain some explicit/offensive language, and if that's not your thing, you don't have to listen, but I have given you a warning. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
You don't know the half of it, but anyway. I'm skating on the thinnest ice known to man.
He said, and they put a poison in the tank that just instantly kills them. He went and we'd run out of it, so we cut their heads off with shovels.
Suddenly, bang! The whole boat exploded.
Take your sort of 8-inch long piranha and imagine that at 4, 5, maybe 6 feet.
I said, I've revived your dead fish. F off, he said. You haven't.
That was just humongous. It was... I couldn't believe what I was looking at.
I'm just battling this fish out and I know it's a black man. I'm saying I'll never be a naughty boy again.
If you catch fish and you return them to the water, then you are my brother.
Welcome to a New Year's special. We're nearly there. It's nearly New Year's Day, and I'm going to get various members of the team in and lay a little summary of their year sort of in review. First, for punishment, it's none other than Mr. Blair himself. Al, how are you?
I'm good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Did you have an amazing Christmas?
I had a brilliant Christmas, did you?
Good. Fantastic. I love Christmas.
It's brilliant.
It never disappoints.
Mate, with kids, it's different, I think. You get
someone actually asked me recently, is it since you've had children? No, I've always loved Christmas.
Have you?
Yeah, and I always will love Christmas. It's a great time of the year, man. The build up to it, and it's never an anti-climax, and it's prolonged. It's not like your birthday, which is a day.
Yeah.
Christmas seems to like drag itself right out. You get to see your family, your friend, and I love it. And I had a really good one this year.
Good, mate. Yeah. New Year's, what are you like for them? Are you one of the resolution crew or not really?
100%, yeah. They always fail, of course they do, but I always show willing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Big party lined up, mate?
No, I don't think so. I'm done with all that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to have Mike Bridger and his family round. He's got 2 lovely girls and a little boy, Ruben. They're going to come around and have tea with us. And then New Year's Day, I'm going to Chloe's parents for the day, and my mother-in-law stipulated she doesn't want anyone there with a hangover. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my days of New Year's Eve are well past me. They have been for a long time, to be honest.
Yeah.
I did my shift of expensive nights out, which are more often than not an anticlimax. And like Christmas, you build yourself up to this big New Year's Eve party, and yeah, I don't look back on many with fond memories, let's put it like that.
You still like the odd party though through the year?
Yeah, of course. Just not New Year's Eve. I like to start the day fresh on the first.
Happy days, mate. We're going to look back at the year. In essence, mate, 2023.
Fantastic. Yeah, another good one. There's been struggles, I think, on various levels. It's not been like amazing. It depends how you look at it.
Yeah.
A lot of amazing things happened, but, it's been a hard year. It's been a hard year in terms of the business. It's harder than it's been.
Yeah.
I often think to myself, I'm not saying we are in a recession. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. But, the general cost of living, and it's not as easy as it's been in previous years out there at the moment, and that has a knock-on effect right up to a big business. It's been a challenging year, but a very, very good one.
Good stuff, mate. We're going to go through a series of questions, mate, just to quantify that year a bit more. Yeah. Starting with highlight of the year.
Getting married.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, getting married. That's what I mean. So it's as much as, it's been a turbulent year, lots of change, lots of hard work, It's not been an easy year in that respect. Yeah, I've had some mega highlights like getting married. Yeah. Wow, 23 was a great year. 23 was a great year.
That was a fair old do as well, mate, wasn't it? That's good, mate.
Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot that was this year.
Yeah, so I don't know. You might have been looking for an angling one, but no, I caught a carp on the day, if that counts. But
I was going to say, they were at the wedding, weren't they? I remember the little VS jobs going in the little centerpieces.
They're still about. Myra and Fern, they've been whittled down now, but scattered around the country. There's more of those carp, and some of them have gone into ponds now. Not now, but back in sort of October, they got big enough, and they've been gone out to a pond. And it was a very special day. That was my highlight.
Nice, yes. Favourite capture? We're on to fishing.
I don't actually have one. I know that doesn't help you, but yeah, genuinely this year, nothing really sort of jumps out at me. I've probably done a little bit less fishing in years gone by. That's probably not helped having that one special one. But But yeah, I can't think of an individual moment, species, capture that was.
You've done a bit though.
Yeah,
haven't
I've done a bit. Of course, I've done a bit. But I can't. If you go back the year before,
Yeah.
it would have been like I fished a lot on a bit of river, just short sessions, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I had a big hit, a big roach. That was my ultimate capture that year. And then, the year's gone further back than that. I remember catching that big common in the snow one year in Austria. There'd be many years where I could go back and go, yeah, that was the best capture that year. Might not have always been a carp. Salmon wasn't the best capture, but it was a good one. Do you know what I mean? But this year just gone, I can't think of one fish that but I know you want an answer. So I've gone for session instead. And my best session of the year, which included some of my favourite captures of the year because it was the best session. I went and made a film with Alfie. It's coming out next year. We hired a canal boat. It was very quintessential. Visiting pubs, having a beer, having a steak and ale pie and fishing along the way. And that was my best session of the year. And I've had a lot of sessions, but I can definitely call that one as... I've had a lot of epic sessions, actually.
Yeah.
It's just, I suppose, within those sessions, there's never been a moment where it was the capture that was like, I remember that bit. But definitely going away with Alfie for the week, with Tony, with Samuel, there was 4 of us on our little canal boat, on a very beautiful canal. That was like my highlight angling period.
That film out next year, hopefully?
Yes, it'll be out, in the summer, I would have thought, next year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Happy days. Funniest moment?
Again, I can't really think.
You can't pick one?
No, not really. Like, there were... we filmed The Social 6 maybe or 5, so a new social film. Only because I was pushed into making this decision. There's a bit that happened then when we wouldn't let Henry get back onto a boat, and he struggled profoundly. Like, even though he thinks he's absolutely the Hulk and like super strong, but it required and lifted all of his body weight up, and we made it very difficult for him. And that was pretty funny because I was in the company of all my pals. There's about 8 or 9 of us, and everyone was just buckled over because we're laughing at his expense. He likes laughing at other people's expense. He's good for that. We all are to a degree. I am guilty of it sometimes. But in this moment, it was everyone got to laugh at the expense of Henry, and it was very funny. So that was probably the funniest moment. Sorry, Henry, bro. That's no like...
He gives it out enough.
He does chuck it, that's what I mean. And just to see him really struggling, but such a big, strong, strapping lad. And
Rugby.
Yeah. That was pretty hilarious, to be honest. And we've managed to capture it, so you'll all, get to witness that moment at some point.
Nice. Toughest moment of the year? Yeah,
like I say to you, it's just been, I don't want to make it like, I don't know. It's been quite a tough year.
Yeah.
It's been a tough year. I thought I would be able to do... I thought I'd be able to change my role a little bit in terms of the business and do a little bit less hours, and that's not really transpired. I'm still working hard, and just the fact that the general economy is not as good as it was 2 or 3 years ago, and that makes everything tough. Do you know what I mean? I'm in a very lucky position where I still have a job, I can still pay my bills, so I'm all right. But I suppose it's the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And I think in my lifetime, this is probably the first time in my lifetime, these last year or two, where I'm seeing all around me the struggle's real. A lot of my friends from back home, do you know what I mean, where their mortgage rates have changed or whatever, and it's hard. It's hard at the moment. Vusen told me a fantastic quote. He took me away for my birthday to Spain, and he told me this quote. I can't remember it word for word, but you will know it, Hassan. And it's like, great men make great times. Yeah. Great times make great whatever. Weak men make. And it's like that. And I feel like for the first time in my life, I've just turned 40, that I'm now at a point where the general economy is not like it's been before. And but it's really exciting. And I can see lights at the end of the tunnel. And, we just got to... So, it's been a challenge, but I've embraced it and loved it.
Nice, mate. Next year, ambitions, targets, talk to me.
What, fishing or just everything?
Give me one of each.
To continue this pursuit of not happiness, always happy, but balance, better balance. What does make me happy? What do I want to be genuinely content and happy? A lot of that revolves around having more family time, working less, and I think I will just continue to strive to achieve that.
Yeah.
To find that balance. You know, and I'm not searching for loads more fishing. I just want to, I think I'm on a good path at the moment, whereas I've probably been far too much the other way in years gone by, you know, far too much fishing or far too much work, or I think I'm really getting a better understanding of how to achieve that and just continuing with that to make sure that...
That's been a conscious effort though, hasn't it?
It's been a few years now, been a lot of years of abuse, and now I want to make, not amends, but I want to continue having a lovely time and a great life and being happy. And I just need to,
What about fishing?
Fishing. There was a big destination. Might not happen just off the back of what I've just said to you. Just understanding priorities and balance might not happen. That would be still up there with a massive dream. Particular country I'd like to visit and make a film there and explore and understand better. But I won't say any more than that at the moment. And yeah, just to carry on fishing and enjoying it. You know, I did what, you know, you asked at the start, you into the resolutions, and I always every year make a list of like, what I want to achieve next year. But the people listening probably won't but it's things like I want to catch my first stone loach on rod and line. That's back on my list this year. Didn't achieve it last year. I want to catch a big rough. Haven't caught one since I was 12 or 13. I want to go to Ireland and catch ferox trout. So I've got a list of angling related things. There's probably 12 to 15 things on there.
What else you got on there?
Oh, mate, I should have brought it, Hassan, because there's loads. And that's not like being stupid and going, I want to go to the Maldives and I want to go to... It's been like trying to be realistic about it. Like, I really want to catch a burbot, for example, out in Germany or Austria or on the Danube or... Yeah, I've got quite a lot of stuff. I really want to go mullet fishing. You know, I've caught them abroad, but I've never done it in England. Yeah. But with my carp fishing, no, I haven't really got any... I just know I'm going to do lots and it's going to be amazing. It's more that other fishing. Yeah, and I do that every year. Let's say there's 12 things on there. If I can get to this time next year and achieve 2 of them, I'll be super proud and happy because they are just big dreams. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But
I love that, man. I didn't know you did that.
Oh, yeah, every year.
What did you tick off this year? Tick off anything?
I'd have to check back, mate, but I'll have it somewhere. Yeah. You know, I always do it. And it's inspired by, you know, I'm probably lucky we get the magazines and you look on Insta and you just see something, you're like, I want to catch one of them. Yeah. Kev's been talking about sticklebacks lately a lot, you know. I think to myself, when was the last time I caught one on rod and line? You know, and have I got a nice photo of a really big stickleback? Just fishing.
Mate, I love it. I love it. Nash, Christmas bonus. Who are you giving it to, mate?
Really difficult. It's really Is it? Yeah, because this hurts people's feelings. This shit. This isn't like, you know, this is getting personal now.
You've got to negotiate the torrid waters of the Christmas bonus, mate. Look, he's just looked down. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
If it was a selfish reason, because it's aided and assisted me personally, then I'd say Martin Tracy. Yeah. Have you met Martin?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so Martin's joined us a year-ish ago, something like that, working in product development, and yeah, he's really incredible, very, very talented, and he's brought a lot of skills. Anyway, he would probably be between him and Tony Waghorn. Tony, because Dan's like giving him loads more responsibility. And I really see firsthand him embracing that opportunity and acting on it and filling those shoes. And so, yeah, it'd be between those two lads there. If there was one bit of money, I'd split it. I'd give them both a bit each.
Nice.
They're my 2 Christmas bonus winners. Good. But to be honest with you, all the lads will work bloody hard again.
Yeah.
They have.
Yeah. Fair play. Yeah. Last question, and you're out of punishment. Nash Carp Angler of the Year.
Again, there's 2 things in my head. Like, one would be, and it'd be more because of him getting off his arse, I suppose, a little bit, and actually doing it, would be Seb.
Yes.
Seb's a bit like a lot of people, me to a lesser or greater degree. They have these good runs and they're like, what? And then they drop out for a year or 2 or 6 months or whatever. No consistency. But, you know, he's become consistent again and it makes me really happy. Like, really happy. Like,
yeah, man, he's done well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't want to get into what he's caught and where he's fishing and all that because it's not that impresses me. It's just it impresses me that he's got back into it and he's delivered. He would be one, and the other ones would be Dan and Loz. Yeah, Dan and Loz done something which neither of them have published, and me and Dan are at blows at the moment over it. Yeah, you know, because I really want it added onto a film that him and I made, and he doesn't want to because he's too fucking carpy. Like, and he thinks he's. But him and Loz did something that made me like not proud, but like I was like, yes, boys, yes, 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 yes. Like a proper bit of fishing that involved a proper bit of graft and caught some ridiculous carp. So yeah, sorry, I've not picked one. It'd be between what Dan and Loz done, which we can't even disclose, but it involved like stashing gear in a mountain. Yeah. It involved a couple of flights and some ferries, and it involved solo as well. I think that was the other thing with both of them. Dan went and done it on his own. Yeah. They didn't hold each other's hands. No. They didn't need each other. He was like, I'm going to go and do this. And I was like, are you? And he did. And then Loz followed it up and went and done it. And I was like, well, that's fair play, mate. Massive accolades for that. Yeah.
Top boys. Yeah, mate, you've done well. You've got through all the questions. Year done and complete. 2023. Here's to 2024, mate.
Can't wait. I'm proper looking forward to it. Big ups, Hassan.
Good, man. I'm going to let you go.
Thank you.
I'll get somebody else in. Finley Todhunter, why I bike a grove.
Why I, man.
How are you, mate? Good?
I'm very good. I've just been called Harvey Price. Yeah, I've just been called Harvey Price out of all the things that could have happened today. I've just done a video about mean comments.
Harvey Price.
Do you not think I resemble him or something?
No.
No, you seem
I would say
shocked.
That is a polar opposite, mate, I think.
But yeah, apart from that, I'm good.
I'm quite surprised you're not a linear.
I'm going to linear.
There it is.
Straight after this podcast finishes, I'm going in back van.
Oh, let's drag it out then. It'll be dark in a few hours.
I've got a bucket in a swim, Hassan. I need to be on the...
I'll bet you have. 2023. In a word?
In a word.
What are you saying?
Good.
What an inspiring choice of word.
I wouldn't say it was fantastic, but can I use very in front of good? Very good. It was a good year.
Better than 2022?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. No, in fact, yeah, I'll say, I don't know how to sum it up. I don't want to use fantastic because that sounds like, but yeah, it's been a good year.
I don't mean to tell you, but I think you've thought too much into this. Good would have been suffice, mate. We could have moved on with our lives.
I'll stick with good.
Yeah, good. Right, nice. Right, you're going to go through the questions I've got for you, all relating to the year of 2023 for Mr. Todhunter. Highlight of the year.
Highlight. There's two. I'm going to say the number one was Zayaki. Good old Zayaki.
Is it called Zayaki?
Well, I call it Zajaki.
You just called it something. You called it two different things.
But then you hear other people calling it Zayaki. So if you want to sound professional, it's Zayaki. That big lake out in Croatia full of big carp. Yeah, I'd say that was probably my highlight. I've been up there 2 years ago, and to be fair, it sounds daft, but I had a pretty shit session even though we caught 30 fish. But this year I went there and I set myself a target of catching a 70-pounder. Now, I went with my dad. Sorry, Dad, but you were not a fantastic angler. And I had my dad. I took him with me. But I had my doubts that I wouldn't be able to cast the ranges that were like required, and he was aware of that as well. So when we went, I had the dart. I'm not sure if he had it. He probably did. If not, he's listening to this thinking I'm a complete idiotic son. But when I went there, I wasn't sure if we were going to catch. But luckily, we both caught. He caught 30 fish to 57, and I had 44, 45, and the final bite was 69 8 mirror. It was 8 ounces short of 70 pounds, but I'd say that sort of capped up the session perfectly. I am going to go back, try and catch a 70-pounder, but I'd say just that that week as a whole, being able to spend it with my dad, I'd say that was probably the best moment, the best week.
Only because you caught more than him and a bigger one.
Absolutely. I cut him right up.
You have dug a hole here as well. If your dad listens, he will listen to this.
Oh,
as
yeah,
well, won't he?
yeah.
I wouldn't be happy with my
Nah.
dad giving me that.
Well, the thing was, right, I'll keep this story as short as possible. I said to him, Dad, look, it's a lot of long-range casting. Are you up for it? Yeah, I'm up for it. So he then went and bought 13 footers, which weren't Nash, which is probably why he wasn't able to reach the distances required. And he went out practicing casting a lead for about 7-8 weeks before we went there. And he was coming back every day like, I can hit 35, I can hit 40 wraps. But that was obviously with just a bare lead. When you're out there using like an 18, 20 mil boilie, and it's so much like, it's just a lot harder to cast a rig that far. And yeah, his first cast probably landed like 10 wraps short, and I was just like, this ain't the one. But fair play to him, he just probably chucked solid bags and had the time of his life.
Good angling, mate. Fair play to
Big
you.
ups, Big Phil.
Favourite capture of the year? Is it that 69-pounder?
No, it's not.
Ooh.
It's not. So it sounds silly, but I think it was probably because I was that shattered. I didn't actually get, not excited. I was obviously like buzzing with it, but I think since I was like tired and just, I've been fishing for 7 days, I was a bit worn down. The best capture, was with Will, the social media guy.
Yes.
We went to a match called the Elite Carp Masters. And we got like sort of mid-draw, and there's a couple of linears in there, 40-pounders. And yeah, I was able to catch one of them, and it was a new PB. Well, it's still my PB, I was going to say at the time, 43.14. And yeah, that moment with Will, I think everyone has their moments when you're with someone and they catch a big carp. You try and act buzzing for them, but deep down, you're just like, you're not. I might sound like, again, a massive bellend, but like, if someone catches a PB, I'm happy for them, but you know what I mean?
What's gone on here, mate? Someone's called him Harvey Price, and now he's turned into some sort of, I don't know.
If someone catches a PB, I'm happy for them, but I'm not to the extent where I'm physically shaking and I'm jumping around the swim. I'm like, well done, like, you've caught a PB, but Will, I've never seen anyone. He was more excited than I was when that fish went in the net. Like, he was genuinely happy, and I was just glad that Will was there and he wasn't a sour twat like me, being like, oh, well done. But funnily enough, when I caught that fish, a guy came round and he said, oh, that's either random or drop scale.
No idea.
No idea. I'm just like, cool, weighed it, 43.14, new PB, buzzing. I didn't cast out for another 3 hours. I caught it off the surface as well. Kept feeding my mixes, got one fish to come up, take like 2 or 3 mixes, and I thought, sorry, I might as well cast out and try and like have a go. I didn't let it build up confidence. Cast out and went and caught drop scale. So the first one was random.
The other one?
Yeah, the other one. But other one's normally a 40-pounder, but it was spawned out of 48.10, I think, or something daft like that. It was like a mad 48.10, bloody hell, 38.10. Yeah, it was like a mad.
Oh, that's quality, that.
Yeah. And I caught a koi.
He's happier about the koi.
Yeah, the koi.
The 2 mega ones. Classic, Finn. Yeah, I'll take that. So you're taking the PB as the capture of the year.
PB went back linear when we weighed it. Not because of my reaction, but just being there with Will and the other guys who were there as well. There was 5 or 6 other lads. Everyone was just buzzing.
Yeah, buzzing.
Like, yeah.
Nice, mate. Funniest moment of the year?
Can I say 2?
Yeah, I'll let you.
I'll say the first one. First one, you sort of might know about it. Lewis Porter's wedding. Afterwards. So I think we talked about this on the last podcast, but I went to my friend Lewis Porter's wedding and I'd done a backdoor boogie and went to Abbey Lakes. And
let's get this right. You left your missus at a wedding having to get back up north and you went to France fishing, didn't you?
Anyway, so the plan was Bradders, the cameraman, was going to pick me up from the wedding. So he'd drive straight to the wedding venue. I'd be still in suit and tie, just get quickly changed, straight over to Eurotunnel into France. Well, I got a little bit carried away drinking that evening. I can remember it, so I can't have been that bad.
I remember my first bit.
And I remember it got to like 12:30, 1:15. Brad messaged me saying I'm setting off in 15, and I was not in a good state, and I thought, oh, no. Anyway, he's picked me up, and we've ended up going to the Eurotunnel. I'm trying to act sober. Brad probably knew I was pissed, but I'm trying to act sober. We're on the M25, and I'm just trying to like tunnel vision, not spew up, not do anything daft. Now, when you go to the Eurotunnel, at any time of the day, but especially early morning, you just turn up and it's just full of people dressed in camouflage. Everyone, they're just carp anglers. I'm all like, yes, lads, beers, carp, and like, I just can't be arsed with it. So yeah, I ended up, because I didn't want to look like a carp angler, I don't think I stayed in my wedding clothes. I just changed into normal clothes. Went in, basically trying not to like speak to any carp anglers. And I thought I'd done well. I went to the toilet, didn't spew up luckily, and started walking back out. And there was a few other carp anglers knocking about. And I'm about 5 steps away from leaving like the terminal. And I've just heard someone shout like from the other side of the room, Finn! And I was like, oh no. So I've turned around and like I said, I was pissed on my eyesight all over the spot, and I just waved, just like, all right. They've shouted again. I thought I can't ignore them, so I've went over trying to like debrief so I can hold a conversation, but luckily it was my two mates who I know from Linear. And like as I've noticed it was them, I've just burst into like tears laughing and be like, what's up with you? And I just couldn't string a sentence together. I was all over the spot. So that was pretty funny for me. It probably isn't that funny to anyone else, but it was funny for me. Yeah, it was one of them moments you had to be there. And the other one was I went sea fishing on a boat.
This looked good, mate.
Yeah,
was
so
it filmed? Yeah,
it's on YouTube now. So my mate Paul rang me up. He was like, Finn, I've got this amazing opportunity. We can go out on the boat, catch tuna, catch sharks, thrasher sharks, this, that, the other. This sounds pretty decent. He said it's all paid for as well. So straight away, I'm like, sweet, I can go over there, make a nice vlog, try and catch a shark. So yeah, we've got proper hyped up. I think it was somewhere in Wales somewhere. We've turned up and like I whacked up the drone to get a few drone shots of like the harbour. And when the drone's up, I'm looking at, there's no big boat that look like they're designed for sharks, but all like little wooden things breaking down. But I thought, you never know, maybe it's out at sea catching jaws or something. Anyway, the captain came. I'm not discrediting this company or like, because I just didn't know what I was getting myself in for. We've ended up on this boat and it was not what I was expecting. I was expecting like wicked tuna. There was like a little 4-foot rod with like mackerel feathers. I thought, what on earth's this? So yeah, I've been sold a duff thing. Like we're going mackerel fishing off a boat for 8 hours. But I'd also been told food was included. So I've brought no food, no drink. We went out to sea. It was horrendous, proper choppy. And I've only ever been sea fishing once and I got seasick. So this was sort of playing on the back of my mind. I've took tablets to try and prevent it. But about an hour into the trip, I can just feel myself. Like, you've been out on the boat. You've seen Lewis Porter.
I've seen Porter in a terrible state.
I could just feel myself going. And I thought, I can't be the first person to start spewing up here. Like, I just can't. So I've just kept quiet. I've focused on like the horizon because that's what you're meant to do. And then Paul, who'd like booked me on the trip, who'd been all like, yeah, sharks. I noticed he was starting to go a little bit quiet as well. I was like, you all right, Paul? He was like, yeah, I feel fine. 5 minutes later, he sort of admitted he's feeling a bit sick and all that. I said, have some food, it'll make you feel better. Turns out the captain's brought no food. So we're now out at sea with no food, no drink. Maybe 20 minutes down the line, Paul went, I'm actually starting to feel a lot better now the breeze has picked up. I'm feeling proper shit. And I'm like, oh, good for you. 5 seconds later, it's just pushed me up where I fell on the floor and it's just like, I can't make the noise, but he made it just sounded so bad. Like the noise was so bad, and it wasn't just me and my friends there. There was like another family with like kids, and they were just like the kids were crying. Like everyone, the captain doesn't know what to do. Paul's there just spewing up. Honestly, he's there like, help.
What, and you're just laughing?
Yeah, this made me feel better. I'm laughing video on it like this is great content. He's offering for like Captain 500 quid to go back to shore, but the tide's out, so we're stuck there. But then he stopped spewing up, but obviously he's still like forking for hours and hours. At the time, it was a little bit disgusting, but I look back on my phone and I'm like, that was pretty funny.
That's brutal. Were you sick? No.
No. So when Paul was sick, normally when you see someone sick, you're a bit like, it makes you feel a bit sick. As soon as he started spewing up, I felt completely fine. I'm just laughing my head off, videoing it, throwing fish at his face like mackerel and stuff. And
it's bad there was a family on that boat.
Yeah, the boat stunk. Like obviously you're chopping up all the fish that you're catching for bit. It stunk, and the kids are crying. His daughter's crying, and I'm just there, just loving it.
What an incredible insight into your life, mate.
It's a good old life.
What's been the toughest moment of the year?
Apart from the hangover at Abbey Lakes, it probably was the Abbey Lakes trip. We filmed it all, it'll be coming out next year. And the reason I'd say it was the toughest was I was the person who picked the venue. Last year when me and Alfie went to Choiseul, I wasn't the person who picked the venue, so sort of you have that responsibility off your shoulders, but if it all goes tits up, it's not your fault. It's not your angling ability. It's just, you can just blame the venue. But I'd picked Abbey Lakes as this is where we're going. I'd went in there, had an absolute shocker, so I've already got the pressure on. We turned up within the first day. How much can I say about a new film?
Probably not that much, mate.
Turned up. Alfie got off to a decent start. I'm struggling like mad. Then Alfie started struggling, and everything just started going downhill. We weren't catching much, and I thought, this pressure's like...
Yeah,
everyone's like... They're not saying, this is your fault for coming to Heaven Lake at Abbey, but I know it's my fault, and I'm like, I should have picked somewhere else. But it turned out to be a fantastic film, Hassan, because on the final night, something great happened.
Nice.
Yeah, something very great.
We got the flight home.
One of the best moments. Yeah, one of the best. The second best moment of the year. There we go.
Nice. Ambitions, targets next year. What are you saying? What you got?
Aim big or go home, isn't it?
Aim big or go home.
I've got 3 targets.
Go on.
I don't expect to hit any of them, but if I hit one of them, then I'll be celebrating like I've won the lottery. The first one is a 70-pounder. Might sound a little bit ridiculous, but I think that's the most realistic out of the 3.
Yeah.
Just because I'm definitely going back to Croatia once, possibly twice, and yeah, I'm not going to lie, the lakes is full of them. So there is a chance of catching a 70 there. Second target is there's a big common in the lake, but hopefully I'm going to start fishing. I'm still waiting for permission. That's going to be a big campaign film, but yeah, try and catch that. 200 acres, there's like 10 fish. Not a bit of me. I fish a linear with 18,000 in like 6 acres on a steel blank. But yeah, try and catch that one. And the third one isn't a target as such. It's just to do better in the competition side of things. This year, BCAC, no, it's not a disease before you pull that joke again. BCAC, I missed out on the final, literally like, by like, not pounds, but like a bite or two. But yeah, I'd like to get to the final in BCAC or do better in the competition side of things. I've just reminded myself, can I say another worst moment?
Yeah,
very quickly.
What else have you done?
So BCAC, me and Steve got to the semi-final on St. John's, and my lineup was just like, it was like Ronaldo, Messi, and you're just like the little kid from Sunday Football Club. But we've turned up, got a half-decent draw, and we were neck and neck with Jack and Brian, who were like 2 lads we know and the decent anglers. We caught a fish, they caught a fish, we caught a fish, they caught a fish, and it was neck and neck. My dad's constantly ringing me like, who's in the lead? I don't know. So on the final morning, we've woke up, we haven't caught anything through the night. And obviously the marshals do a lap of the lake in the morning, so if there's any fish that have been caught just before first light, they weigh it. But went into Jack and Brian's swim and we've took 2 slings out the margin. I was like, we must be like 40 to 55 pounds behind, going off the averages. So I thought, brilliant, we need 2 bites. And then at about 9:30 in the morning, all the fish moved away from Jack and Brian. They weren't going to catch anything else. And I've had a bite. And obviously we only need 1 or 2 bites and like,
you're home and dry.
We're sweet. So I've got this bite, we're playing it in, Steve's on the net. It's all clear and smooth. And like the blowback rig that I use, I swear I never lose fish on it. This fish has got within 3 foot of the net, hook pulled, the hooks came flying. I've been able to catch the rig in my hand, but Steve's just stood there with the net. He didn't know that it's like came off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I just lost my shit. I'll sound like a kid here, but I threw my rod down in the bush. But being the match angler that I am, I had another one ready. So I've picked up the rod, lined up to cast. Steve's still there with the net. I'm like, Steve, move. He's like, what? Where's the fish? Came off. I just cast back out. And then me and Steve just didn't speak for about half an hour because, yeah, it was obviously, it wouldn't have made a difference to the score at the end. We still would have been 20, 30 pounds short, but we didn't know that at the time. And it was horrible. It was...
Losing fish is never good, mate. That is another reason not to go into competition carp fishing, I think. Oh, that'd be brutal, mate.
Yeah, it's not
fair play to Steve for putting up with you as well.
Yeah, fair play.
But it'd be interesting to see next year what happens, mate. Hopefully, You'll make the final, sure.
Go on, yeah. If we keep entering, I mean, we keep buying like 50 qualified. We don't really, but you know what I mean. We're trying hard. We've entered a few other matches, just to sort of get experience in it. So
you'll do it, mate. Nash Christmas bonus. Who are you giving it to and why?
I give it to you. I give it to you.
I'll take it, mate. Where is it?
He definitely just paid me before this podcast.
Yeah, I know. There's my bonus gone.
I'd give it to you because listen. This ain't me picking you up, but you do a podcast every single week.
I do.
Exactly.
I'm going to send this to HR, so make it comprehensive.
Hassan releases a podcast every week without Phil. He hasn't missed a date yet. Yes. 2024, different story.
That's my resolution. One a year, mate. Bosh.
But yeah, I just think it's like to be consistent doing what you're doing. I'll give it to you.
I'll take that. You can have an extra mince pie on the way out, mate. Big question. Carp Angler of the Year, Nash. Who is it?
Me.
That's not me. You can vote for yourself.
Nah, it's not me. I'd give it to Ollie. Yeah, the reason for it is just he went to Rainbow, obviously caught a fit. It was his PB mirror. But even if you just push that to one side, he's just always consistent. Like I've always said, Ollie's the best angler at Nash, and he's just always consistent. Like even yesterday, he was catching fish while I'm out there linear for 3 nights, like catching 1 5-pounder. You know what I mean? He's consistent throughout the year, whether it's spring, summer, autumn, winter. Yeah, I give it to Ollie.
OD.
Or to the D.
I'll put a tally next to his name, mate. We'll see where we end up after this. Thank you so much for your little insight, mate. Have a fantastic New Year's celebration.
I will do.
Technically, it's New Year's Eve right now when we're recording this.
Right.
No doubt you'll be at Linear on the back, mate, for the old fireworks and the simo. But good to hear from you, mate. I'll see you soon, no doubt.
See you soon. Thank you.
Jacob, how are you, mate?
Fantastic. How are you, Hassan?
You're sporting a very unique carp fishing look with a massive T-shirt, I'd say there, mate.
Do you know what? I'm going straight to a dance class after this podcast, so we're going for the oversized T-shirt.
Said to me, you've taken up the old dance again, mate, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I decided last winter, I was doing a lot of fishing. I decided that this winter I was going to switch it up a little bit. I didn't want to get sort of stagnant and stop enjoying it so much. So I've decided through the colder months up until about middle of March, I'm going to get back into dance again. Whether it becomes something serious, I'm not sure at this stage, but I'm enjoying it. So go to classes, still editing videos, putting content out, and I go fishing every now and again, but I'm not doing like a winter campaign this year.
Right. You have got a bit about you on the old dance scene though, haven't you, mate? I've got nothing. I'm dead. Mate, it is painful, the lack of rhythm.
You should come to a few classes.
Mate, I don't think they're the place that I really want to frequent. You know what I mean? That is a hard no. But thanks for the offer. We're going to talk all things New Year's. Are you a New Year's type person, mate? Are you resolution man?
Not really, mate. No, I do set goals for the year generally.
Yeah,
but I'm not like one of those that's like I'll start the gym on the 1st of Jan. Like I kind of implement, my routine all the way through the year. But I do have things that I would like to achieve next year, for example. But that's just to put a timeline on some of the goals I've got set.
2023.
Yeah.
What type of year?
Out
of 10. What are you giving it?
Ooh.
Oh, he's thinking.
7.
Well, that's good.
But it depends, It depends what your idea of a 10 would be, doesn't it, I suppose? It's all
Well, 10 would be all your targets met in that year.
For me, I don't think a 10's possible.
Okay.
Because you've always got to allow room for something happening unexpected, like a random turn or something in life, that takes you by surprise. I'm quite open to that. So a 10, I wouldn't say a 10 would be like, for example, let's say, caught all my target fish, my profile raised through the roof, got this deal and made loads of money. That would not be a 10. Obviously, there'd be good things in there that obviously would be an achievement. But for me, a 10, there's so many things that I want to experience in life with fishing and outside of fishing. So I would never be a 10. But I'd give this year, I'd give 2023
a
7. Is this purely fishing, is it?
No, you can
in general as well.
It out to wherever.
I'd say a 7. Yeah.
Better than the year before?
I would say almost every year of my life's been better than the one before.
Roll on 2024 then, boy.
Yeah. Not necessarily with captures, but in general life, I would say like I'm probably slightly happier every year.
Nice.
And I enjoy life more as time goes on. Like this year, moved into a new flat, for example, sold my boat, moved into a flat with 2 friends from Manchester. They moved to London. So obviously that's like a unique experience. That's been really nice with them. Fishing wise, I did catch target fish, was more consistent on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And just, I knew, I guess as time goes on, I know where to put my energy and where to put my efforts. Whereas if before it might have been a bit sporadic, I would throw loads of energy into something and go, oh, I kind of burnt out there. Whereas if now I'm a bit more...
picky and choosy.
Yeah, a bit more with where I put my time. So, like I say, every year is slightly better than the one before.
I like that, mate. You can only... Mate, it's a good way to go, isn't it? Better each year. Right, I'm going to take you through a few questions, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Give me your answers to these. Highlight of the year.
Highlight of the year would be the common.
Ooh, okay.
So, yeah, it was a fish that I had on the target list for a long, long time. And it was one that I saw a picture of when I first moved to London, probably back in 2017 when I started looking into fishing in the city. And it was big fish, 45, 46 pound, in a small lake, crystal clear, low stock, that kind of thing. And I put it off for a long time. And then this year I finally sunk my teeth into it properly. I did some time in the spring, caught a few fish, and then I actually went onto the island and fished it from there.
I remember speaking to you. When
video,
you were on the
there
island.
will be a video coming out, but as of yet, no video. But I went onto the island, set all my gear up there, then I realised the fish weren't where they were the following year, because I went on the island the following year. The previous year. They weren't where they were. So I was like, what am I going to do now? Pulling my hair out again. Because we're talking like 12, between sort of 12 and 18 carp.
Right.
Could be a few that have died off, but there was about 18 a few years back. And then I realised that they were in a weed bed near the other island. So I just set up all camp, looking nice, cleaned all, like breaking off branches, twigs, cleaning this. Back on the boat, moving it all across to the other side at night as well. And dropped a rig literally on a little tiny clear spot close to where I'd seen this fish in the boat, and I caught it that second night. So it's the second night of this part of the campaign, and it was
Nice.
46 pound, immaculate. Probably one of the best fish I've caught. I'd say the best common I've caught.
Yeah.
For size, it doesn't even look that big. It wasn't like really deep, or it was just massive in every way. Like just really well proportioned, like proper UK fish. So that's definitely my highlight in terms of fishing wise. Yeah.
Good angling. Favourite capture of the year? Can't be the same one.
Can't be the same one.
No, of course it can't.
No. Okay, so...
Or was that your highlight and your favourite capture all in one, mate?
Okay, let's spin it then.
Go on. That
Let's
was your
spin
favourite
it.
capture then, yeah?
Let's say that was my favourite capture. My highlight of the year was the trip to Spain.
Yeah, that looked wicked.
The common. I wasn't enjoying the fishing so much because it was a lot of effort, and I was on my own on an island thinking I'm going to catch this fish. But the actual 2 minutes of the fight and netting it and the excitement of lifting it and pictures, that was sick. So that's the favourite capture. But the highlight of my year altogether was definitely my trip to Spain, which was filming Continental Connections. I'm back. which is a series that Henry's doing, where he goes across to a European country, meets up with a connection, most of the time someone who's linked through Nash, and he will go fishing normally for a week or two. So it's quite a big shoot. And this time he decided to bring me along with him instead of Dan Yeomans, and we met up with Samir in Spain, went to the River Ebro. We went to this big sort of Roman lake with cool scalies in it, and then we went to this massive lake at the end, which was incredibly difficult. But in every way, it was just the perfect fishing trip. When I think about how I would like my fishing to go in the future, like those big European adventures with friends, having fun, you'll see when the film comes out. It was so funny. Me and Samir have never met before. We were literally howling.
Had you never met before?
Never met. We were howling the whole time, laughing our heads off. We caught loads on the river. I think we had...
Yeah, let's not give too much away here, though.
We caught loads on the river. We've already put it on Instagram.
In that case, we caught...
we caught about... we caught like maybe 50 carp.
Right, wow.
In a few days. I had a 50-pounder out the river. they had 2 40-pounders at the same time, so we braced it at 50 and 240s. Yeah, it was so sick, mate. Like Roger screaming off, going out in the boat in the big river.
And that's out next year, yeah? Video was.
And this will probably be out, yeah, next year, maybe spring, summertime. And then went to a lake. Henry went off one side of the lake. Me and Samir decided to go together. We were with Bradley filming. We were just laughing our heads off the whole time. Like we're getting absolute peelers every sort of 25 minutes to 40 minutes. We're just running out, laughing, playing fish. Let them go, off you go.
Yeah, that sounds
so
sick.
fun, mate. So that's the highlight of my year in terms of fun and.
Nice. Funniest moment of the year? We're having to think now. I thought it was when you came in today for me. Oi,
taking the mick out of me because I've got a long sleeve t-shirt on. And I had a chain on.
He had a chain on. It looked like he literally got out of the bath with a plug hole around him. And he's taking it off because he's had that much abuse.
No.
You put it in your bag?
No.
I said you had to put it back on and you haven't put it back on.
I didn't take it off because I was getting abuse off you for it, Hassan. I'm not that insecure.
Why is it not on now then?
I took it off because I wouldn't have actually worn a chain for a fishing podcast. I'm going straight to a dance class, so I had it on already. I would have taken it off.
He's got like an alter ego. Like this is deep. Like, but he has. You have to put certain things on when you're dancing and take certain things off.
I wouldn't say an alter ego. My personality is the same wherever I go.
Well, apparently it's not. It's chain free here.
No,
it's chain full there, mate.
No, personality is exactly the same wherever I go. But yes, the two industries do not cross over very well. One being the dance industry. Well, I was saying to Hassan before, when I go to a dance class and tell people about that I go fishing and hold up a carp, they're so confused by it. They take the mick, they see me hold it and go, what are you doing with that? And then when I'm fishing, they go, you going to dance class? You're weirdo. Like the two just don't really merge together. So
those trousers work for both.
So the outfits normally I would change the outfit, but I'm rocking it, so who cares?
Funniest moment, mate. I'll stop.
Oh, yeah. Stop taking the mick at me now.
I'll stop.
Yeah. Funniest moment. Do you know what? I read the questions. I didn't want to come in knowing exactly what I was going to say.
You haven't read these questions.
I have read the questions.
That's a bite.
That's a bite. No, I promise you, I read the questions and I thought, let me not think of all the answers so that it actually comes across natural. Funniest moment. That's a hard one though. I haven't had anything that's happened that's been like hilarious. You know, like one thing that was mad funny. I would say, going back to Continental Connections with Samir, the funniest moment of the year that I can remember would have to be from that. And it was, Samir had a fish that he was just about to start filming. He had it in the sling. Nice, probably one of the best ones we'd caught so far. And we needed to catch a good one from this lake to move on, just to wrap it up. We caught loads of small ones. Samir's got this decent one in the sling. He's also released his own film, you know, the bike film.
Yes.
He's released that and it went out live, say, at 7 p.m. He's got this fish. He's about to do it for the cameras, for our piece. But he said, Jacob, have you got any ideas for me to promote my film quickly? It's gone live. I've not put anything out on Instagram. Come on, come up with something. I don't just want to do a normal, the film's live. I said, why don't you lift that carp and say, like, well, as you can see, I'm here in Spain, filming Continental Collections. However, my film's just gone live. Oh, that was all it was meant to be, yeah?
Yeah.
In the end, mate, we were just, I don't know why we were laughing. So, I mean, it's not even a funny story, like, but we were just, it was flapping, he was losing it, it nearly got away a couple, and Brad was going, no, we need that fish, like, for the actual piece, you know, that we're filming. And so then I'm laughing my head off, and Samir, imagine he's trying to be serious, trying to compose himself with the cameras in his face, and then he just gets near the end of the line, and I start laughing, then he bursts down, Jacob, stop it. Mate, he had to redo it about 7-8 times, and in the end, we were just howling of laughter, and he just went, this is shit. Zipped it up and went, I'm not doing
it.
I'm not doing the thing for the Instagram. Bro, I don't know why it was so funny, but in the moment, like, Brad was holding the camera, yeah?
Cheers.
No, phone. Brad had the phone for the Instagram story. When I tell you, Brad was there like that, shaking like a leaf, trying not to laugh because Samir was so serious. You know what Samir is?
Yeah.
He left it and going, right, the film is live now. I'm like...
it's bad that though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny though. But I'd say there's probably loads of stuff. My boat sinking was quite funny.
Was that funny?
Yeah, I laughed. Someone sent... I was actually sleeping at the back of the shop at the time. I was in between moving out, and I thought, I'm not going to like go in an Airbnb and spend like £1,000 on like a couple of weeks rent. So I was sleeping on a Nash bed chair at the back of the shop, all mice running around and that, horrendous. And I woke up one morning and looked at my phone, and I just got a random message off this random number. I didn't know who it was. And I opened it, and it was a picture of my boats on the bottom of the canal. And I literally just looked at it, started laughing. I thought, oh my God. Because every time I went on the boat, I thought, one day I'm going to turn up and it's either going to be gone or sank. Like, you see other boats that have sunk. And
Why did it sink, though?
Oh, mate. Basically, there's a small hole right underneath. No, I'm joking.
If you pull this thing out,
basically, I hammered a big hole in the bottom. No, there's once I was doing a turn.
Right.
I was doing a last-minute turn at a lock because I realised the lock was decommissioned. So I went for a quick 180, and basically there was this steel girder sticking out the side of the wall, and I turned, and a last minute just went, grease lightning where they're driving the cars, and he sticks the prongs out of and just cuts the side of the car to pieces. It was like that. It just went through the side, and it just ripped like a nice, perfect, clear hole through the side of the boat. But it was above the waterline.
Okay.
So that was there, but it was a good, say, maybe foot above the waterline. And what I believe happened is I fastened the boat up with tarps so it didn't get any rainwater going in. And basically I went to Ayia Napa and I went to Portugal back to back. And that was probably like 3 weeks. And then I come back and went fishing for a week. So I was gone for at least 5 or 6 weeks. And when I come back to the boat, what I think had happened is someone had ripped the tarp off to get in and steal stuff. Yeah, it just happens every time. Like, no matter what you do, even if I leave it empty, you still see traces of people have gone in to try and see if you've left anything. So they must have ripped the tarp off to think like, oh, there must be something in there if you tied it up. They've cut that with a scissors or a knife, gone in, stolen nothing because there's nothing in there to steal anyway, and they've then left it open with all the tarp off.
Okay, and it's filled up.
Had loads of rain, so it's then filled up. And what happened is it was full of water. No one told me, even though there's loads of people around. Like, so the guy told me when it sank, but no one told me it's filling with water. It's my own fault. You should go down there at least every week. But like I said, I was away, and the boat next door, when I came to the boat when it was sank, he said to me, "Oh yeah, it was really full of water." And then 2 lads jumped on it.
Brilliant.
Basically, they jumped on it, messing about, and that obviously then pulled it below that line where there was a gash. So then it started filling in, because he said from when they stood on it, like an hour later it was sank.
Yeah.
So I obviously put 2 and 2 together. It must have been where they stood on it. They just started then coming in at speed.
What a place that people rip your tarp. I'll be under the tarp with a gun, mate.
I know. I've thought about it before, like to try and set up a contraption or something. You know, like a weird little webcam that like a light comes on.
I don't know what sort of dark web you're into, mate. I don't want to film them. I just want to get them off my boat.
Not necessarily film, but like a camera that's got a sensor on it. You know, so when someone comes into that stands on the boat,
like a Ring doorbell,
you can get one easily, and it lights, and you get a notification on your phone.
I want to be there, mate.
Triggered, and then I would go there. I would ring the boater next door and say, "Film whoever's in my boat messing about." Jeez. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do something. Mate, it's just so scummy. Like every time I leave it, they damage it and they do weird stuff. Like there'll be nothing in the boat. I've had stuff stolen in the past, but there'll be nothing in the boat to steal. But they'll go in and like I've got all my scope bedding is all wrapped in obviously anti-condensation liner.
Oh, okay.
So it's not mouldy.
Yeah.
They'll take all that off to try and see what I've got in there, and then leave all my duvets lying across the floor. So they'll get. Then I'll come to go fishing, and it's all mould everywhere, and all my pillows and that are mouldy. So I'm like, well, I can't fish today. It's just like scummy and no benefit from it at all.
No.
So yeah, so that's that. But that was quite funny.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was quite funny. I just put a YouTube video up about it. You'll see my reaction in that.
I thought. Well, the next question.
I laughed because I was like, if I don't laugh, I'll cry. You know what I mean? So I just thought it's
mate, the next question I've got on my list is toughest moment. I thought that would have been your toughest moment, mate. You've put a lot of sort of money, spent a lot of time and stuff on that boat, but clearly it's not. What's your toughest moment?
Toughest moment of 2023. Do you know what? I guess you could probably say it's that. If we're going from most people's
perspective.
Most people's perspective of what they would say would be my toughest moment, I would say it probably is that, which I guess for me, from my point of view, would highlight the fact that I've actually had quite a good year, because that's probably the worst thing that's happened. I'd say daily to myself actually that I feel like I'm quite lucky in that, like, in life generally nothing too bad's ever happened to me.
Touch wood.
Touch wood. Like, generally, like, I'm really happy, like, I'm doing the things that I love, so I can't really sit here generally and say, oh, this has been really tough. Like, work and stuff, like, obviously working hard, things not going to plan, that kind of thing normally, but, like, I haven't had any real tough things this year. Obviously the boat's sinking, some people think that'd be awful, but for me it was just like, I did just laugh it off, because I just thought in the long term it's just such a minor thing. Like, my boat sank, it's like, I don't live on it, it's just a little fishing boat, like, does it really matter? Maybe that's just I'm quite easy going. But yeah, nothing bad really happened, mate, to be honest, this year.
What about next year? Ambitions, targets next year, what are they?
Next year, okay.
We said dancing already.
Yeah, I've got loads for next year.
Have you?
Yeah, dance-wise, I want to train all winter, and then go back to my fishing again during April time. If certain jobs come up or I get offered certain jobs, I'll do them in the summer, but I won't be able to commit to dance, obviously, like I am in the winter, because I'll be fishing again. So I've got quite a lot of plans in terms of filming for fishing, going away with Henry again around Europe. A lot, probably more than we did this year, actually. And we did 4 or 5 trips. So there'll be a lot of videos coming out of that. What else have I got planned this year?
You got any targets when you go abroad or not? Or are you just going to enjoy the trips?
Yeah, no. Do you know what it is? This is one thing that I've started to change in terms of my fishing. Is before I was really like, I would have said I was a campaign angler. I know like people might not view me as that, because of obviously I work for Nash and I have to make a certain amount of films and this kind of stuff, which obviously does take away from that campaign style. But that was what, when I started getting into carp fishing properly, I would have said, like, mentally I was a campaign angler. Like, I woke up with a buzz to catch a specific carp.
Yeah.
I didn't really get much of a thrill out of a one-off session catching random fish that I knew nothing about. But now I've realised that my time is not best spent chasing a certain carp, because when I look back to this year and the year before, all the sessions that haven't led to a success in terms of a film being created or enjoyment, it's when I was chasing one carp. And I just think a little bit now, life's a little bit too short for me to be, for example, I wanted to fish the Lockwood on Walthamstow. I'm thinking that could be 200-300 day sessions on there for one fish.
Yeah.
In that time, I can make 40-50 videos going around Europe, having fun with friends, not chasing one carp, just being happy with whatever I catch. So yeah, I guess my angling style's changed. I still want to catch big carp, but that's the good thing about going out to France, Belgium, is that you catch target carp to the UK standards in a 48-hour session.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of getting the best of both, but it's like a different world. So more of that. I will be doing some stuff for my own YouTube channel, maybe multi-species challenges, a few like fun things, something a little bit different. But yeah, I'm open to more ideas as they sort of come.
Busy year, mate. It sounds like. Right, Nash, Christmas bonus. Who are you giving it to and why?
Yeah, I did think about this one actually. This question.
Right, so you didn't think about the others.
Well, I didn't want to have a preconceived. I didn't. You said I hadn't read the questions.
There's another bite. Oh man,
the other ones I didn't want to have a preconceived answer, but with this one I thought about, because I thought I don't actually know. I've got to give a Christmas. So I am the CEO in this moment.
Yeah, you've done it, mate.
So I'm the CEO, and I've got a bonus. And I have to give it to one member of Nash Tackle.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't be myself.
No. Although you definitely would.
I'll have all the bonuses. I'll have it all. Give me all. That is a good question, actually.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Good question. Is that from you?
Yeah.
Is it?
These are all from me.
No, they're not.
Mate.
I'm joking.
This podcast is a one-man band.
One-man band. Can I go into depth or not?
Of course you can.
Don't want to waffle on for too long and bore everyone.
You've already done that.
Yeah, you failed on that one already, mate. Well, I don't know if I'm honest with you, I don't know all too much about what everyone's job role is and what they've actually done in terms of...
Brilliant.
Yeah. Because I don't spend any... This is the first time I've been in the office for ages.
Yeah, since you did the podcast, probably.
I'm never in the office. I don't really know what the majority of the boys do. And if I... Like, let's say I do know what they do, but I don't know how well they've done this year.
Right.
Let's say.
This is going to be a really comprehensively answered question then, isn't it?
So, mate... It's making it look like I don't want to give it to anyone.
Got to be one of the cameramen, hasn't it?
No.
You've been with them the most, haven't you? Of everybody at HQ?
Who's worked the hardest at Nash this year? I genuinely don't know. And I didn't know when I read it the first time.
Incredible.
Has anyone to you stood out? I'm going to flip the question.
You can't give the question to me. Your way of getting out of this is not going to be Christmas bonus.
No, but
would
you know what
you
it
give
is?
to? What could be anybody?
Christmas bonus, yeah, but the only person I know what they've done is Henry.
Give it to Henry.
I'm not giving it to Henry. I'm going to flatter him like that.
Who are you giving it to?
It's horrible to me. I can't give it to Henry. Mate, bad, innit? Frozen. I'm frozen here. You're gonna have to edit this out.
Your dance class has got some
better
more
than this.
in this. I'm keeping this all in, mate.
You've got to edit it out.
You started.
Yeah, but you're asking. Right, let me just.
No, but your answer. You've started the answer to this question as, oh yeah, I've thought about this one, and then you've just dragged it.
No, and you know what it was? I thought about this one, and that's my point. I've thought about it, and I can't give you a name because you're forgetting. I make films for Nash. But I'm not actually in contact with anyone at Nash. I don't know what anyone's doing. How can I give someone a bonus?
The guys in the warehouse for getting your stuff out. The bait factory for the new bait. There's 1,000,001 answers you can give it. Just get yourself
something
out.
like
Absolutely.
you want something blasé? All right, I'll give it to I'll give it to Henry actually. After
all that, you'd give it to Henry.
Yeah, because he's the only person I know whose job role.
All he's done is fished all year. His job role's blinking do.
Yeah, but that's the point. All you lot have been grilling Henry. All he's done is fished. But
he has.
I've seen him doing his work whilst fishing, and he puts a lot of effort into his fishing. So I can't compare him to anyone else in the office. Right. For all I know, if I say, "Oh yeah, Tony," or Dan, head of media, they might come in here and go, I've had a terrible year, I've done nothing, and I'm giving them a Christmas bonus for nothing. So I'd have to be someone I know that they've been doing. Henry, okay, I think he's got a good work rate.
A few more European trips with him, I get it.
Yeah, I've got to keep him sweet.
Nice, well played. Final question: Nash Carp Angler of the Year. Who is it and why?
Carp Angler of the Year.
Honestly, the hours I spent penning this email to you,
bad,
might as well not have bothered.
No, but I like trying to think about it on the spot. That's Carp Angler of the Year. I'm trying to think what all the boys have caught. I would say...
Oh, here we go.
It's not been the best year in terms of the numbers of big fish caught by us boys at Nash as anglers. Would you agree with me on that? Because when you think to last year and the year previous, I can name captures of that all the boys have caught. And obviously Henry nearly won Carp Angler of the Year last year, but this year he hasn't had as many big hits. So that one is an interesting one. And I'm trying to think, am I missing out on any special captures that any of the boys have caught in terms of Ollie and Alan? People like that.
Ollie's just caught loads of big ones. He's been to Rainbow.
As you see, I haven't seen the videos. Haven't come out, so I haven't seen or heard of any of that. So it probably would be Ollie, wouldn't it? Because no one else has really had I've had one good one, and I've had a few 50s abroad. Again, Henry's had a few decent ones, but I don't think
Finn's had a few good ones from Zazaki.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think.
I wouldn't be able to give it. I wouldn't be able to give it. I don't think anyone stood out this year.
But you've got to give it to someone, haven't you?
Got to give it to someone.
On the balance of time, access, and who's caught them, who are you giving that to?
Do you know who has caught a few this year, actually? Ollie. One of the cameramen, one of the videographers.
Oh, Ollie Richards, yes.
Yes. They have a 50 out of it.
Yeah,
and he had another 40 as well out of there.
That's a good shout from
you. Do you know what I mean? When I'm comparing it to everyone else, obviously me, Ollie, Finn, like we're fishing full time.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much Ollie's done, but I know that he's full time videographer for Nash, so he won't have done as much time as us boys, and he's caught a 15 or 14 and this other stuff. Again, I don't know the venue, I don't know how hard it is, what that is as an achievement, but I would have to say this year it's probably going to be. And when did Dan catch the Swavesey mirror as well?
Was that last year, man?
Last year, long gone. Still trying to praise him for that anyway. But yeah, like I think things like that stand out more. The boys, unless one of us like full-time anglers has an incredible year and catches loads, it goes to someone who's had less time.
Yeah, definitely.
That's more of an achievement then.
That's a great shout.
So I'll go for that, mate.
Ollie Richards, well done, that boy. He had to caught a couple of. You're right. I
remember seeing him on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
He put me in a group as well, didn't he? I remember that. Yeah. Top shout.
Yeah.
Well, mate, thank you for coming in. You've got through my list of questions. You're off now to
just
do some
about.
dancing.
Just about.
It's a struggle, but don't worry, I'll edit them for you. So New Year and all that.
Cut it all out. Yeah.
Cool. Mate, I will no doubt catch up with you soon. Hopefully, we'll get out. Do some fishing at some point this year. We don't think we went last year, did we? We went the year before.
No, we did Farlow's the year before, and we didn't do anything last year.
Let's go somewhere crazy in London or something.
You wouldn't do that.
I would.
You wouldn't come to London.
For you?
Yeah.
If you didn't wear those clothes.
I'll come and I'll get us a matching chain.
Oh, I can't wait. Mate, yeah, cheers for coming in.
One, bro.
Have a great New Year's.
Nice one, mate. You too, and all the listeners as well. Have a great New Year, and I wish you the best of luck in 2024.
Ollie, mate, how are you? Well?
I'm very good, Hassan. How are you?
I'm good, mate. New Year, well, pending New Year, mate. What would you say was your overriding theme or feelings towards 2023, mate? Good one?
Yeah, 2023 wasn't a bad year. Some years you're sorry to see the end of, aren't you? But 2023 has been a good year. I've really enjoyed it.
You've smashed it on the fishing front, boy.
I've done all right, yeah. I've got lucky a few times. I've come home feeling lucky a few times. That doesn't always happen, does it?
Mate, you've done really, really, really well, mate. I look at your Instagram, always incredible imagery, mate. But this year, incredible imagery, incredible carp. You've done really well, mate.
Thanks, mate.
On the fishing front.
I'm glad it looks that way.
Mate, no, you have. You genuinely have. You're very modest
Sometimes
about
it doesn't feel that way. But when, it means a lot for you to say that. Thank you.
No, mate, you have. We're going to go through a series of questions.
Mm-hmm.
All these questions you're going to answer comprehensively, I know. We're prepped. We're going to start with your highlight of the year.
Highlight of the year. This is actually the one that I struggled off most. But because I've had such a nice year, there's so many things that I could say. There's so many. I'm going to actually pick two. One of them is a trip. And one of them was an event I went to. The first is, let's just start with the event. I went to Prodigy live. Big ups to Richard, Gone Fishing Effects, who sorted us out backstage tickets. But that wasn't the highlight. It was actually my mate Snowy. If you know Snowy, you know he's a massive Prodigy fan. And I took him along, and it was more how much he enjoyed it. For me, was like a massive highlight. As much as I had a lovely time, really had a lovely time. But yeah, Snowy is a proper Prodigy fanboy. We've got a running joke, he's always requesting Prodigy songs, and we're having a little mix. So yeah. So Snowy's living the dream. That was a real highlight.
Love that.
For me, it was a trip to Sweden, which is coming out in a Nash film next year. And I got to go away with the lovely Bradders and Mike Tobin, top boys, and we basically just had a lovely time in Sweden, which is the most amazing country. Fished for 4 days at like one of my favourite places on earth, and we just got to live like wild men in the woods, gathering berries and fruit, and it was bloody cool. Really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Lovely times.
Lovely times, yeah. True lovely times. The fishing was almost secondary.
Yeah. People, place. Nice, mate. Your favourite capture of the year? You've had a few.
Yeah, you said the rainbow one, didn't you? When we were talking about that. Yeah, I was really happy with that, but it's kind of not really up there for me. The best one is again from a film that's coming next year on Nash TV, and that's from the legendary Cassian. I got to go filming with Briggsy there about 6 years ago. I can't remember when it was, 2016, 17.
Just the famous broken leg.
Oh gosh, if anything could have gone wrong on that trip, it went wrong. Poor Lou. It was when Lou Porter just started at Nash, and he had a real baptism of fire. I got to come filming with me.
Welcome to Nash.
Welcome to Nash. Yeah, on one of the worst not worst. It was actually a really good trip, but we were just beset with so many issues, from losing my van key to poor Joan breaking her leg, broken motors, batteries that didn't work, smashed phones. Yeah, it was just one of those trips. And of course, it was a blank, you know. But ironically, as a result of that, the lads sort of had to switch it up again, and ended up making, thanks to Dan, a really amazing film with Briggsy. Anyway, so
it was a sick look.
Really good, mate. Yeah. So actually, it all works out perfectly. But yeah, it was one of those trips. So anyway, I had been there as a cameraman, but I was really yearning to get back and tick that box. You know, better line myself and catch one. So I did manage to catch more than one. I went with Tib, but the first one was a real special one. Just under £50.
Oh.
Amazing Cassian, like quite a famous mirror, one that's fairly well known. And yeah, when I looked at that one roll over the net cord, that don't happen every special.
year.
Yeah, it was special. It was and it's actually sort of rolls on to toughest moment of the year, which you were going to ask me. I may as well cover it.
You were
now.
on it, mate, didn't you?
I'm way ahead of you, Hassan. I'm way ahead of you, because it was on day 7, I think, of an 8-day shoot, and we blanked for 6 days. We were playing by the rules. I'll add that. I was determined that there'd be no lifting fish, contravening any rules, night fishing. We had to do it properly, which does restrict you. Like I'd love to night fish it. It's part of the kind of the magic of the place. But yeah, we had to play by the days only rule, and so we did make it happen. But like by day 6, I was really starting to feel the pressure. I was swimming with another one of my really good friends, Basil, and if you know Basil, he can catch a carp or two and a big one as well. So he was kind of giving me a bit of ribbing, saying, if you want, I'll do the fishing and maybe you do the filming.
That's exactly the morale boost you need.
A bit of extra motivation, but we made it happen and pulled it out of the bag and caught a really nice one. So in terms of ticking a box personally, it ticked the box, but also it wasn't a wasted shoot. We'd already been on a wasted shoot to Cassian. There's time, money. You can't justify it, unless you come back with a result. So I didn't have 30 years of Cassian experience, did I? And video to make a film out of, like Briggsy. So yeah, it was important I caught one. So pressure capture, and a real, one that meant something to me.
Nice. You've skipped ahead, done your toughest moment, funniest moment of the year.
Funniest moment of the year. You know what? Funniest moment of the year, I'm going to go back to Cassian again, because and this is not just a moment, it's a whole week. It's funniest person of the year, and that's Basil again. He's so entertaining, man, so entertaining. He had me laughing. I come back, I don't know why, with about 50 pictures just of him, but I think that was just because he was so entertaining, and I ended up just taking pictures of him doing funny stuff. I remember we had a wild boar behind us in the woods. Like Oliver had gone for a wee in the trees behind, and he'd come face to face with this giant wild boar. Came back and told Basil about it, and Basil immediately armed himself with a stick, like he was something out of Lost Boys. Do you know what I mean? He was going to defend us against this wild boar, and it was just the thought of this posh Viennese kid with a big stick. If he was the one who was going to save us, we were going to be in trouble, weren't we? We were in doom. Yeah,
he's coming on the podcast of the new year.
Is he? Yeah. Oh, mate, yeah, he's a proper legend, Basil, behind the rods and behind the camera.
Yeah, he's caught with you.
Yeah, it's thoroughly entertaining. Couldn't have asked for a better person to film with that week, for sure.
Nice, mate. Right, next year, your ambitions and targets, what do they look like? Have you got any?
Do you know what? I don't even know what I'm doing next week, Hassan. I like that in my life. If I can continue to enjoy my fishing and to provide entertaining and informative content in a fast changing world, then that will be a win for me next year. Like, honestly,
Nothing outside of fishing, no resolutions, nothing to do anything. Gigs, particular, anything like that?
I mean, it'd be nice to travel a little bit more again. I did do a couple of trips this year, but like a lot of the early part of the year was kind of fishing at home again, and I enjoyed it. But I did, by the time like all those trips were coming out, I was ready for it. I was fired up, and I needed a challenge. So to find something that challenges me next year, motivates me. That would be fantastic. I don't know what it is yet. It'll come along and grab me by the nuts, hopefully, and
so Ollie, isn't it?
Sling me into the bear pit. Yeah, but come on, man! Like,
I love it, man.
I don't like that. don't like being diarised. I like having that little bit of freedom where I don't necessarily know exactly what I'm doing next week. Drives my missus up the wall. What are you doing next week? How many dinners do I need to get? Don't know.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Love it, mate. I love it. Right, Nash, Christmas bonus. You're in charge, mate. Who are you giving your Christmas bonus to?
MVP.
Well, this is a broader sense. It's not just on an angling front. It could be anything. But
Is this like best Nash angler, or is this a different question?
No, mate. This is you've got the Christmas bonus pot. Who are you giving it to and why? You're the CEO of the.
Do you know what? There are so many people that are deserving of it here.
It's a good political.
But
how
it's
a CEO
true.
would talk.
They're grafters. They're like, do you know what? My MVP is always Alan.
Yeah,
Nobody
man.
grafts as hard as him, even when he's not supposed to be grafting. I'd love to say that anybody else has worked hard on him, but I don't think anybody else gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning and works as hard as Alan. It's impossible. Alan, you deserve a big Christmas bonus every year.
Lovely.
Love ya.
Final question. Nash Carp Angler of the Year.
Nash Carp Angler. Again, mate, there's so many of the lads could have smashed it. Jacob and Henry, Samir and Claire smashed it this year again. But you know what? I'm going to go with someone who I've watched him really like progress. And this is someone who he's an experienced carp angler, but this year he's changed his fishing completely. And that's Reedy, man. Like,
What a bloke.
Yeah, what a legend. He spanked him this year. Yeah, he got a Horton ticket this year. And yeah, from being like a bit of a... I mean, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to him calling him a camper, but he was definitely like, his motto was no shorts, no fishing. He was he didn't go fishing in the cold. He didn't, he liked his comforts. For him, fishing was relaxing, but man, he's changed it all. And you have to really to be successful. And he has been. He's caught some amazing fish this year. And he's so highly motivated at the moment. Like,
I love it, mate.
He's got the fishing buzz, and it makes me buzz as well. So yeah.
I normally only see that buzz when he's got a rainbow trip, but you see it every week now.
Yeah, every week. And he's got a PB that smashes all of ours. Like whenever we play the PB game, like Anyone else caught a 90? No. But like honestly, like he has leveled up this year. Smashed it.
Good shout.
Big ups, Reedy.
Ollie, as ever, mate, the professional, smash through those. Have a brilliant year, mate. I'll now hopefully pin you down for a bit of angling at some point next year, mate, because it's been a while
Good
since
to see
you.
Yeah.
Caught near nigh on £50 the last time we were out. So
yeah, well,
you've got an average to live up to there, B. But have a great New Year's, mate. I'll see you soon.
Nice one. Cheers, Hassan.
Tommy boy, it's been far too long, mate. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
You're back in here, mate, so
I know.
I'm good.
I wasn't expecting to be in here today, to be honest.
You were always going to be in here, mate.
No, I sent you obviously I got the invite several weeks ago, but I sent a little warning out to you in a week, didn't I? I've not been well.
There's a few, mate. There's a couple of sick notes today, mate.
Honestly.
Notably, Mr. Yeomans and Mr. Willingale have come a cropper, mate. The old party's done him, I think.
I know I was the same. I was a bit worried. Sunday, Monday, we had our Christmas party last Wednesday night, I believe.
It's all a blur.
Terrible idea to do on a Wednesday, wasn't it? But it was always going to happen. Thursday was not a great day. Friday, I was a little bit back to normal, but then Saturday, Sunday, I could tell I wasn't right, and then it hit me Sunday morning, this lurgy flu, whatever's going around. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I was in a really bad way. And thankfully, Wednesday and Thursday, I started feeling a bit better.
You MK boys are made of sterner stuff.
There
mate,
you go.
yeah.
Got the all clear, so I come down today to the office. But yeah, I apologise. I look a bit of a mess. Woolly hat, my hair's a mess. No, I haven't even shaved.
Don't lie.
No Christmas jumper.
New year, new me.
Yeah.
This is me.
I got the carpy look, but just a few years too late, aren't I?
Mate, but I appreciate you coming in and battling through ailments, mate, even if they were slightly self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Your year, 2023, give me 3 words to sort of summarise it, or just summarise it. What was it like?
It's been, do you know what? I was thinking, again, I haven't really prepared for this because I didn't think I'd be here. So I didn't bother looking at your email and answering all your questions and bullet pointing them. So I just thought, you know what? I'm going to do this off the cuff. But I was just sitting out there a minute ago thinking, what have I done this year? Because fishing-wise, it's been probably my worst ever.
Yeah.
And not because I've not caught anything. I just haven't been.
It's
been a lot of. I've had a really good year. Like putting the fishing aside, I've had a bloody good year. Really, really good.
In terms of what?
Just personal things, really. Bought a house. That was big.
Oh, sick.
Well, so I've been in there about a month now, but what came with that was a lot of stress in terms of, I won't bore you with it, but I should have been in there in March.
Yeah.
Delay, you know, it is, everyone has it, solicitors being useless and mortgages and whatnot. I only ended up moving in there a month ago, so that's drawn out. That's taken up a large part of the year and stressed me out no end, but
yeah.
So that's an achievement, tick. Just had a really good summer. Alan got married, that was good.
Yeah.
He had a wicked stag do and wedding. That was a highlight for sure. Went to Glastonbury for the first time. That's my highlight actually. That was a big tick. Something I wanted to do all my life.
Really?
You ever done it?
No, never done it.
Went to Glastonbury Festival for the first time with these boys, Alan Reedy, a few of our other friends, and that was a real.
That's your highlight. That's my first question on the list. You've obviously preempted these.
Yeah, away from fishing. If you want to fish, so that would be my highlight. I had a wonderful time. Got to tick it off the list. The lifetime ambition to experience Glastonbury. Done it.
Like decent
madness. Yeah, incredible.
Yeah,
beautiful. Everything I could have wanted it to be and more. Like it's taken me 20 odd years to get a chance to go, but we got there. So yeah, incredible. That would be my highlight. If we're talking fishing, I'm not really allowed to talk about it. I've just asked Tone out there.
Oh, yeah.
The highlight, without a doubt, was our filming trip. We filmed a social.
Yes.
We're allowed to say that. We filmed the latest social, and without doubt, it is the biggest and best one ever.
Better than Bled?
Exactly, and that's saying something. Better than Bled, yeah.
On a fishing front? Or not?
No. Yes, the style of fishing and everything, it was really hard, actually. We no way near caught as many fish and as many as big fish, but the whole package in terms of where we went, the adventure that went with it, the style of angling, the location, it was beautiful. Once in a lifetime for sure. So
watch this space.
I don't know, with these like editing videos, probably see it in 3 or 4 years or something.
Maybe longer than that.
Next year maybe. Let's just say it's Bled and some.
I remember seeing a fair few notifications come through about what was going on. It looked like quite the eventful trip, mate, as well as a mega one.
Like Bled was a dream, obviously. Like I never ever thought we'd top that, but we have done.
Corner boy.
Yeah, we have done. It's hard to say. I can't believe saying that, but we have done. Yeah, brilliant.
I know you said fishing's been relatively scarce.
Mm-hmm.
Favourite capture of the year?
So one of them will be from that trip, trip. Once you seed it, I don't want to give. It's going to be hard this, but we'll start now, aren't we? What are they going to do? You'll get this out there quick.
There just won't be an image overlay. Yeah, that's all.
One of them will be from that trip, and it is not even nowhere near one of the biggest carp I've ever caught. But everything that came with it, it was basically towards the end of our trip after grafting and moving. Again, I don't want to give it away. It wasn't just a case of moving swims; it was a case of moving.
Yeah.
Miles away, a big move on a big
place
and a big what we were living on.
Yeah,
I can say that, I guess. Yeah. So it was a big thing, and the pressure of going on any filming shoot is massive, obviously, because you've got to deliver. But these social ones where Bled costs however many thousands of pounds for the company, you've got to deliver, you know. And this one's just like God knows how much the costs of it. So I knew we had to deliver, and it didn't start great, and we didn't really know what we were doing. And then it got better and better and better, and I eventually pulled it off, and all the hard work and whatnot, because it was graft fishing. It's by no means cast out of rod and wait for it to scream off. And eventually I caught one. It wasn't even a big fish, but what it meant at that time, and it's a special one. You'll see it in the film.
Any others domestically done anything?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, I'll tell a lie. I did do a lot of fishing up until they spawned. So middle of May.
Yeah.
I fished really hard actually last winter up in the Folly in Peterborough. Carried on a syndicate up there. Fished November, December, January, February. Yeah, the whole winter period. Caught a few. Had some lovely socials with some great who have now become friends.
Yeah.
Really, really enjoyed my winter on there. So that was good. And then that come to an end because I got the weather got a little bit better. That would have been like March, April, and I started again on Bayswater for my second season as such. And then once I'm into something, that'll be me. So the folly had gone. I weren't into that anymore, and my head was truly like Bayswater. So, and I had a few good sessions. Like I say, up until they spawned, it's such a shame. I was just getting into it. Like I started fishing there in March or whatever, maybe the end of February. Really, really getting into it, and it progressed. It started with just sig fishing, casting at showers, blah blah blah, and then I started catching a few off the bottom, and then the weed come up and. You're allowed to use boats there, so I started going out in a boat and prepping a few spots with the aquascope, and it was brilliant. Started catching a few, and then they spawned. And I'm a bit, I don't know what the word is, but I just lose interest once they've spawned. They all drop weight. Do you know what I mean? Not only have you got to let them rest, but they just drop weight, and a 50-pounder or big 40 that you want to catch is now suddenly £10 less. I just don't like fishing in the summer. I don't like fishing for them at that time. Target fish anyway. So I tend to knock it on the head and just do flat about and do other bits, and then in the autumn pick it back up again, which I haven't done this year. But I did have some good hits there. Yeah, I had one session. I think I had 8 fish, just all on zigs. I just got it right. I found them around. They were just cruising around this island, fishing to like weed that was protruding this island. And what did I have? I had 7 odd fish, 3 of the originals, which in a lake among sort of 40 fish, maybe 50 fish. Yeah, I caught 3 of the old originals on the same trip. One called Sparkles, big 39-pounder. I don't know if that's an original, but it's a nice one anyway. One of the well-known ones, doesn't get caught much. Caught that one 38. Sorry, yeah, 38, not 39. I think I had another 34 and a 32 and just one of those red letter sessions. So
on the zigs, mate.
All on the zigs, mate. Yeah, it's wicked, perfect. And then it got too weedy in the zigs. Couldn't really fish the zigs anymore.
Yeah.
So I switched to the boat fishing and. Just started getting them going. I put so much effort in. I was going over there and just going out in the boat, finding these spots, baiting them. It's only 20 minutes out of it. I was still living in Essex at the time, so I could just go there, bait, and I've really put the effort in, thinking, right, I've got now May to really have a go at these bottom bait fishing from the boat. And they spawned really early, like middle of May or something, or first week of May, and then that was that knocked on the head, and then.
But also, in terms of your general fishing this year, it's been difficult because of work as well, hasn't it?
Correct.
Not only the house, you've had a bit of a change.
So this is another change, and then absolutely another highlight as well. It sort of started last year, actually, but this year I've been given a lot more responsibility. So, yeah, anyway, I was obviously events manager and doing all that events and merchandising side of thing. But then when did it all start? It actually started during COVID. Obviously, all the shows and everything got knocked on the head. So I was like, what do I do? And really was like, well, you can come and help me. We need lots of help, product development. And I've always been involved with them a little bit, giving my thoughts and ideas and testing stuff and whatnot. So I started doing a bit in there with Alan and Reedy and doing a bit of product development. And it just progressed from there. All our departments are just getting massive now.
Yeah.
Increasing in numbers. And so basically for the last 12 months, maybe a bit longer, I've been in a product development as such. Yeah, what would you say? Yeah, not just development, sort of project managing as such. So someone comes up with a product, Alan or whoever, and once the product's confirmed, we then deal with the rest of it. So getting it to on the shelf, basically, the packaging, the ordering, the anything that has to go with it, the marketing and media, providing that to the marketing and media boys. Yeah, just pushing all the projects over the line. So.
Enjoy it, mate.
Really good, and that's another reason why my fishing's. Yeah, I had to do it because I'm terrible for it. If I'm fishing, I'm fishing. Like I can't be one or the other. I get my head on it, and I just sort of push everything else to the side and go right. And I've done that in the spring. I'd like almost every single spare second I was doing a night or a weekend or whatever. But then I thought, a sensible thing to do right now is when they spawned, just knock it on the head for a bit. You're not missing out on much. So I did concentrate, and since then it's just been work up until trade show in October, which is like the penultimate for obviously getting everything ready for the trade show product wise, and a few festivals and a bit of having a good time in between. So
on the flip side of all that, toughest moment. What's your toughest moment been? Had a lot of change, a lot of good stuff there that year, really.
Yeah, so that all was a lot. Positive. It was a tough moment. I don't know, I don't really tend to dwell on them too much, but I'm just trying to think. We were just talking about it out there. I asked Reedy, I was like, Reedy, what's been a tough moment this year? He just looked at me and went, the to queue for Glastonbury, and our faces just went dropped. So as I brought up Glastonbury a minute ago, it's not really fishing related, but should we go with it?
Yeah.
Right, let's picture this then. Let me set the scene. Those who have been to Glastonbury will know it's like a 6-day festival or whatever. You can get there. You can get in there on the Wednesday.
Right.
Wednesday, yeah. Nothing really happens on the Wednesday. It's so big. Like, it takes a day to do anything there. Anyway, the Tuesday night we stayed up. We're going to try and get a little bit of sleep. Get off, obviously Somerset.
Yeah.
4 hours away, whatever it is. We were trying to get there for first light to get in the queue. Spend a long time queuing. Get in there Wednesday. Crack on. And so we did. We left here at midnight. Should have got some sleep. Didn't, because we were all excited. Eventually got there first light, and like I say, those who know, we ended up parking bloody 5 fields away from the entrances. However, we were equipped with power barrows. So we had Alan with me, really. We weren't going to do it half-hearted. We brought the absolute works, mate. And you see these people with one little rucksack and a tiny little tent and a roll mat. Like, we went full bore. So we had the works, mate. We were determined to have the best campsite, best pitch in that campsite. And we did, but it took some graft. So we had everything. We had bank life tables, we had chairs, we had gazebos, we had multi-tarps, we had Titan Hide XLs, we had bed chairs, cool boxes, everything, the absolute works. And what that meant is power barrows. No problem. So we parked in our field miles away and loaded the barrows up. They had too much weight on them. We obviously, what do we say? I think we say 100 kilos or 120 kilos, I think, don't we? As a product, as a guide. We had more than that. Because you take your own alcohol as well. Yeah. So we had crates and crates of beer that we had bought from like Macro or Costco or whatever. And we had too much weight on, even with the wheels on the back. It's a silly idea thinking about, but we done it anyway, and it all started well. We were going through these fields, everyone pulling their little manual barrows, like all these campers. We were like, you amateurs, you mags.
Yeah.
Zooming past them, and everyone was going, "Oh, look at them guys go, mate." We were gone. 3 of it. I was loaded up, Reedy was loaded up, Alan was loaded up, and our other friend Dave was loaded up. Just brilliant. Like, couldn't have been going any better. And then eventually we get to sort of maybe 2 fields away. You can start seeing what's going on, and the queue sort of slowly stopped. We got to not the front, nowhere near the front, but at a point where we couldn't go any further forward, and we were like, "Wow, this is it for a while, a few hours probably." It was only like 6 a.m, but by this point, and we were like, "Right, cool, let's just chill for a bit." Everyone was started cracking open beers and that. I was like, "Yeah, it's Glastonbury, innit?" Hadn't eaten all night, like hadn't eaten since yesterday afternoon or evening. So. Yeah, why not? We all had a few beers. We had like cases. We're giving them away to all the people in the queue. It was a lovely time, having a great time. Moving a little bit at a time. So a little bit down the queue at a time until eventually it sort of funneled us in a little bit more. And all of a sudden I was looking at these people with just their rucksack and this roll mat, and we were just basically with our massive power barrows, picking them up, moving 2 meters, putting them down. And after 2 hours of doing this on a rough, horrible cow field grass, I was like, this is a bit shit now all of a sudden. And these people with their rucksacks and just storming all through the queue, and I was like, that's why you do it like that. Yeah. We thought we were the pros, actually. You are like, and the last little bit, it goes into a, what would you call it? Like, like a queue for, well, anything really. It sort of zigzags. They start to zigzag them so they can get everyone down, but still create. It's fine, no problem. But everyone was so tight by now. They crammed them in with these like cow grid fencing thing. Do you know what I mean? And by now the sun had come out. 9 a.m. 2 beers, 2, 3, 4 beers deep, and the sun was just beaming. I hadn't eaten. I was like, that's probably a bad call. Sweating, it was horrible. Couldn't move. It's like this. And then this zigzaggy queue type system, as it progressed, it started going up this field, like the hill started increasing up until the point where I could just about see the turnstiles where you get in. And it seemed so close, but yeah, it was so far still. It was hours away. And anyway, it turned out to be another 4 hours of this. Just, mate. And by this point, I'd lost Alan. We'd all split up because the queue was so tight. And I could just about see Alan over here. He was somewhere here and his girlfriend. And I was just on my own now, just talking to randoms. Everyone's going, "Hey, you're a fisherman, laddie?" Yeah, I was like, "Yeah." It's amazing how many carp anglers, loads of them. Especially when you're with Alan, they obviously all recognise him, but. And the problem was, if we could have just gone, right, you got to go up that hill there and get to that turnstile powerboat, it'd have been no problem. But the problem was I couldn't move. We were just moving at such a slow pace whilst going up a hill. So every time you had to because you couldn't just hold the barrel like this, you had to put it down at some point and have a breather and whatnot.
Yeah.
Problem was, second you put it down, because we were on a hill, and it was just, mate, it was the worst. It was torture. It was the worst 4 hours ever. Really snapped his handles off his. Not a default of the product, not at all. We just loaded it terribly, put all the beers at the back so, overweighted it, and it snapped. So really was handleless. So he'd lost power because of this, and the bars had just snapped. Like the weld had just snapped. We put too much weight. Completely our own fault. Like nothing because of the product. It just
How's he done that then?
Just too much weight and lifting it constantly.
Not the snap. How's he managed to get through the?
Oh right, so he waved me down.
Yeah.
I had to come and help him, but I had my own barrow as well, so we had to put some of his on mine. Bless her, Katie, his girlfriend, had to lug all the bags and the food on her arms, shoulders, and he basically had to. We sort of bodged it. We've got 2 bivvy pegs and put them through the
little hole.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
to try and it sort of worked, but sort of didn't. But it got to the point where they were really loose still, and every time he put his barrow down, it just toppled because it had to. We were on a hill like this, a gradient. That's the word. And it was it was just a nightmare. And all these people, every time Alan's toppled about 4 times, mine toppled 3 times, Reedy's toppled loads, and all this time because there's so many people around, it was just.
Yeah, that does sound savage, mate.
And there's thousands of people just watching you, going, laughing at you, watching you.
I'd just have a few more beers and keep going.
I did. That was exactly what I did. 6 hours later, I think, of queuing, it's you couldn't believe what started off as such a Glastonbury. 6 hours later, I'm still not in the festival. And
you're not selling Glasto to me, mate.
Mate, once you walk through those magical doors, the whole world changes. You're in your own little magical world, and it becomes the best place on earth, which it is. And once we got the camp set up.
Oh yeah,
mate, we lived a life of luxury for 6 days. It was incredible. People were walking past, going coming to us, just going, "Have you got any?" They just needed supplies. We had everything. We had cool boxes. We had plug-in this power. We smashed it. It was all absolutely worth it, but horrible at the same time. But
next one, mate. Funniest moment.
Fun. I haven't. I can't think of one. That would also. I said this to out there. That is also my funniest moment. Looking back, it was just incredible. There's been a million funny moments. Loads. There's been several that I can't talk about because it was on said trip.
Oh yeah, a certain couple of people from said trip.
One, probably the funniest story, involves 2 individuals, Tony and Henry.
I think you can say who it is.
Why not? You'll find out.
Is that in there? Is it? That's not in the video.
I bloody hope not.
I was going to say, that cannot make the video.
Several. There's just, the funniest moment would have been something on that trip, which unfortunately, annoyingly, I can't talk about. But I ain't really got one.
No, that is definitely the one.
That is the one. Next time we do a podcast, I'll tell you all about it.
Right, well, we'll definitely do a podcast about said trip, and I'll get full details. For the public, I know the story.
By this point, they would have seen the film, yeah? And
we'll be clear. So we're all right, mate. We've skirted around it very well. Next year, your ambitions and targets, mate.
Fishing-wise?
Could be fishing, could be work, could be whatever you want.
Work-wise, it's just going to be the same. I'm continue to learn this department. Feel I've done quite well over the last 12 months, but we're getting bigger and bigger. We've got Martin now, who you've met, but these guys probably wouldn't have. Well, it's just really exciting. Everything's going really well at the moment, and I've been given a lot more responsibility managing my own projects and whatnot. So that'll be good to bring my own products and projects to fruition, if you like, from start to finish. So that'll be a nice achievement. Fishing wise, I'm gonna. I could completely change my mind here by next spring, but I'm gonna drop all my syndicate tickets.
Okay.
Mainly because I bought a house.
Yeah.
But also because I've just got to that point now where I need to do something. I'm not bothered about catching loads of fish anymore. I'm gonna I've had them years of fishing day ticket, bluebell, and syndicates. I've done day ticket life. I've done syndicate life. Now I want to do something just where I'm not going to catch many fish a year, but I'm going to catch a couple of really special ones. Do you know?
Okay.
So I don't really know where I'm going to do this year. By the way, I've got a couple of lakes in Cambridgeshire that I think. I've got a ticket for now, and I think I didn't put any effort into them last year, but I think that's what I'm going to do. Big old pits, not a lot of anglers, probably not going to catch a lot, but if I do, it'll be
mega.
Yeah, I just want to. Yeah, like I say, I'm not bothered about numbers anymore, or go like I just want to. Yeah, instead of trying to catch them all, I'm just going to try and catch a couple of special ones and see how that goes. See if I get a good buzz off that. I think I will.
Yeah, you will, man. And you'll catch them.
Mm.
You're a good angler, boy, mate.
Yeah. So yeah.
You are the CEO of Nash, mate. You got a Christmas bonus to give. Who are you giving your Christmas bonus to? I think that's a good question.
Oh, I bet these have been. Has this been quite a split? Or has it all been one? Has it all been one person?
It's been very mixed so far.
I'll tell you who I'll give it to, actually. I haven't thought about this one yet, but I'm going to give it to Ben Adams. Big Ben.
Ah, legend.
Mainly because I've still got a little bit of the event side of me in my heart, but Ben, I think Ben got thrown in at the deep end a little bit. He come in to do merchandising originally.
Yeah.
And then Nige took over the event, managing the event side of things, which he does very well. But Ben got a lot put on him in terms of the shows, and he was sort of a bit inexperienced with him. And at first he was a bit coming to me all the time, and rightly so. He was coming to me saying, "What do you do here?" And I was helping him as much as I possibly could in between my work. I had no problem with doing that, of course not. And he slowly, in very short space of time, he's managed to get through a trade show, which is a big thing. Yeah, and he done really well, and there was no faults, and he absolutely smashed it. He's done a few. We didn't really do any shows last spring, did we? Northern was the only one we done, which he managed, and it was a great success. And also recently he's just done one in the big double headers. They were always the ones that were challenging for me. When you got two shows on the same weekend, which is a terrible idea, especially when you got one in Germany and Austria. They're rivals, aren't they? It's almost like, why don't one of you just do one the next weekend? But no, it's one of them. I think none of them wants to give in. Anyway, there's two big shows, one in Germany, one in Austria. They were like 2 weeks ago. And that adds a logistical nightmare. And he's pulled that off as well. So with the help of Nige. And I think he's done really well. He's a good old boy, Ben.
He's fished the Mere as well, hasn't he?
What's the Mere?
He's fished the Mere. Ask him.
The Mere? What Mere?
I can't say much more than that, mate.
The Mere. The Mere.
I think it's
the Mere.
The Mere. Let him tell you the story for yourself, mate. He's had a couple. Anyway, Nash Carp Angler of the Year, mate. Final question. Who are you giving it to? Who's had the best year behind the rods?
Well, I reckon so far people have said, someone would have said, Henry would have picked himself.
He's not actually been on yet.
Henry will pick himself. Okay, I've got two people here. I'm going to try and be, I'm not giving it to Henry because he gets to fish all the time.
Yeah.
He's full-time. He's full-time and some.
Yeah.
Like,
not a bank more than grass.
You could give it to Ollie. Yeah, again, brilliant year as always. Never not have a bad year.
He's had a mega year.
Thinking outside the box a little bit. I've got two people. Finley's one of them.
Todhunter?
Yeah. Has anyone said him?
Grove. No, he's been in and said his, but no one said.
Did he give it to me?
Nope.
He's not having it then. Finn's good. I've started watching. I've been really rubbish with my catching up on all the content, not just Nash content, but everything at the moment. I used to be a right little geek, and then I've gone right off it, probably because I'm not fishing as much.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I watched his vlogs. I watched this one the other day. It's probably why he's in my head. And he's really bloody good angler, isn't he, Finn?
Yeah, he's a good angler.
I haven't actually been with him. You haven't, you? A few times, a few shoots.
Yeah.
And he's had a good year. I know he's been to Zaki,
yeah.
and he's smashing up linear, and his vlogs are really good. He's done a couple of big productions, been with Alf, and he's smashed up. Was that last year?
Twas Hills, wasn't it? I can't remember if that was this
Abbey.
year.
They went to Abbey this year, didn't they?
That's next year's video. So
yeah, he's just a really tidy little angler. And I speak to him a lot more recently because I ask him about products. Talking to him about casting gloves and things the other day. I was thinking, like, what do we need to do? And he's really good. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, he's one of them. Second one I'll give it to. Shout a little hold tight to the product development department. Seb.
Yeah, man.
Got to be, innit?
He's smashed.
He's had a really good year, and Seb's always one of them, and he won't mind me saying this. He's always one of them where he previously, he would go from being loving fishing, loving partying, loving fishing. Do you know what I mean? He goes through little phases, and I think he wouldn't mind me saying that. He'd fish for a little bit, fall out of love with it, get back into it, go through another little phase, not go. But I tell you what, the last 12 months or this year, he's been on it, mate.
Also, he's just a really nice lad, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's always in there, working hard, quite quiet, just gets on with it. In the same way as angling, don't shout about really anything, does he? Just cracks on.
I think a big thing for him was he was fishing a little syndicate down the road that I was a member of. So he joined that. Was that this year? Yeah. And he went on there and obliterated it straight away, catching them all.
Yeah.
And then, like, he sits next to me, obviously. We were sitting next to each other, and he was like, Tom, I'm thinking of getting a winter ticket on the Manor. I was like, oh. I was like, obviously happy for him. And I was like, but honestly, mate, if you're going to do this, it's like, you've got to do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because this is expensive. It's the Manor. It's a notorious big fish venue. Got a lot of like history about it. There'll be some big boys, big anglers on there. You've got to like
commit
and get involved. Like, otherwise you ain't catching them. And he has. He's been brilliant. He's been on it. He's just gone now. Like, he's taken his last half day of the year off to go get down there early today, and he's ill and he's still going, and
he's got good hair.
And he's got lovely hair, yeah.
There you go. What more do you want from a carp angler?
And he's caught them. He started on the Manor and he caught them from the off. And since he caught some straight away, he's just been on it.
Yeah.
And
good shout.
Hey, he's done bloody well.
Good shout. Tommy, I've thoroughly enjoyed this, mate. I'm not going to wait so long next time before I get you back in, I don't think, mate.
Yeah.
You need to go and...
I need to see some fishing, really, don't I? Otherwise, what are we going to talk about?
No, we'll just sit down and chat, mate.
I'm good at that,
I love it.
Yeah.
No, but thank you very much, mate. Have a fantastic New Year.
You too.
And I will hopefully see you soon. Maybe we'll get out on the bank, do a bit of fishing.
Yeah, maybe leave it a couple of months.
Maybe. Maybe not. Big love, mate.
Sad. See you in a bit.
We've saved the best till last, haven't we, boy? Henry Lennon, how are you, mate?
We're good. I'm not sure about that, but
you've got a Christmas jumper on, mate. You're still living off past Christmas glories. Christmas is gone, mate. It's New Year's.
Yeah, it's been and gone, innit, at this point. Yeah, no, I just love it so much that I'm longing it out as much as I can.
Oh, I love it, mate. Have you been good?
Yeah, I've been good. Yeah,
living the dream.
Living the dream. Been a busy year.
Yeah, it has been a busy. In 2, 3 words, or as few words as possible. 2023. What are you saying?
Yeah, just really, really busy. That's how I'd sum it up. Just lots of everything. Always feed. I'd say until the last week, I've just not felt like I've sat down all year.
You've just been fishing.
This is what I hate. This is what I hate. This is what I want to put right on this thing. Everyone, I'm sure that's what it looks like. What I do is fish. But
that is all you're doing, isn't it?
No, this is so annoying. This is what everyone always winds me up in here as well. But I still got an actual job at Nash.
What's your actual job at Nash?
Marketing coordinator.
Right.
It's a balancing act with the fishing and this side of things, and it's been difficult at times this year. Sob story coming in.
Here we go.
No, it has been difficult balancing it. Like, you come back from long shoots, you're tired, but then you've got all the office work to catch up on, and then you go away. I mean, it's a nice problem to have because it means half the time you're going fishing. But yeah, it's been.
You've earned it though, mate, haven't you? You've balanced that, and this is no.
I'm waiting for the dig that normally follows.
There's no dig here. You've balanced that. You've worked hard, and you do work hard. I know, before and during those trips, because it is an integral part of the business, like your role. So you have to be there to pick things up and do whatever. And if you didn't do that, well, let's face it, mate, you wouldn't be allowed to go and do the other stuff, would you?
Yeah, definitely. They would soon be taken away. I think they'd see, if they saw one side slacking, they'll go, stop going fishing so much, Henry. You need to get back in the office. So yeah, it's sort of forced to balance it properly to be able to do the fishing side of things.
You've caught some again though, mate, haven't you?
Well, I thought it was going to be difficult to have a year as good as last year, because last year was really, really good. But I was sort of tallying up captures and stuff as you do in preparation for this podcast, and I think I've had more big fish, like 40 pound pluses this year than I did last year. So it's been another really good year. Really,
you
really
didn't
good.
have the Spanish record though, did you, mate?
Didn't have the Spanish record. No, that's that is a shame. But I caught my target, 2 targets that I had 2 public 60s. Yeah, I had a few good ones, but yeah, not quite as good as last year because of that Spanish fish. But no, it's still a good year. Still a good year.
A very good year. Right, we're going to go through a number of different topics, mate.
Okay, and I get to ask you as well, don't I? Because
we're not swapping chairs though. We're
Okay.
just going to stay here where we are here, and I will try and think of some whatever.
No, you've got to go as well. You can't just ask everyone.
Yeah. We're at the end, so I will
So I get to be
definitely
interviewer
put my
as
input.
well.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you first. So the highlight of a year.
I think those 260s. Definitely those 260s. Yeah, that's my fishing highlight anyway. I want to keep it fishing highlight and fishing related as much as possible because it's a fishing podcast. So as opposed to people knowing about my personal life highlights.
What's been the personal life highlight?
Not for this podcast, but
There's been a fair few of them, mate. Hasn't there? It's been a busy year on the personal front.
It's not been too bad. But no, let's stick to fishing. And my personal highlight was those 260s right back at the start of the year. I went over to France for a big show that they do over there, and then that was on the weekend. And then the following weekend, I was doing a film with Nash in France. So I thought, there's no point coming home. I'm gonna stay out here and do some fishing. What I'd planned to do was go and try and fish for this target fish that this 50-pound canal fish that was my main target for the whole year. But I'd caught it on the way out there. So on the way out there, I did a night before going to this show and caught it.
Just one night?
One night, yeah. That was really good. That was really, really good.
Oh, that's epic.
Yeah. I'll talk about that as my... There's
a capture of the year.
Yeah, I'll talk about that on that one. I'll save that one.
What, and then went over and caught 260s?
Yeah. So I didn't know where to go, didn't have anything to do. At the show, Samir was there. So whenever I'm with Samir, it's always tapping him up for a few pins, as you do. He's got the best pins in Europe, I'd say. So he gave me a few, maybe 4 or 5. A couple of them, it was from an area of France where he's not fished for a while. So he said, I'm not too sure, go and have a look at them, see what you think. So I went and had a look at a few of them. I wasn't really feeling any of them until I got to the last one. And really liked the look of it. So it was maybe 40 acres, so not massive by French standards. Days only, public or next to a campsite. Didn't really look that inspiring, and I don't really know why I liked it so much. I think it was just how clear the water was. It didn't seem that busy, and the anglers who were fishing, they're all sort of like kids who'd shown up on their motorbike. They didn't look like they were proper going for it, if you know what I mean. So I thought, and Samir told me there were a few big fish in there, so I thought, I think that this could be the time of year where they all start waking up. It does that first bite, and I'd be surprised if it's had many bites yet, because like I said, I got there on a Sunday, and the people fishing it, I thought they will just be fishing with PVA bags and things like that, and they might not be in the right areas. So I decided to fish there. Initially, I didn't realise it was days only water.
Right.
So I actually went out in the boat, got everything set up to go and drop rigs, and then just as I was about to drop the first rod on dark, the owner of the campsite came out and says, "Oh yeah, you can't fish nights. If the guard catch you, you get a fine." So I was a bit annoyed about that. So what I did was I went out in the boat, found a spot at night, and just filled it in with loads and loads of bait. Like I said, I didn't think people would be fishing and putting lots of bait in and really committing to it. So I went out, found a spot, and just thought, fuck it, I'm going to go for it. So I put 25 kilos in.
Jesus, go on,
just a bit of everything. The new test bait, load of particle, just loads and loads of everything. And also because, like I said, I just felt like how people would be fishing there, from what I could see, would be little PVA bags and just throwing stick. Everyone had a throwing stick, and I just thought if I put a big carpet down, it'd just be something different, and said it might work, it might not. I'll give it a couple of days and see what happens. So I got up just before first light to get the rods out, and I snoozed my alarm. And it's a good job I did, because if I didn't, I would have got my rods out just before dark. And about 5 minutes after snoozing my alarm, the guard came round and woke me up to see if I was fishing. And if I was just before the sunrise. So if I hadn't have snoozed my alarm, I would have got the rods out and would have got a fine straight away. So that was the first little bit of luck. And then anyway, I got the rods out, sort of sat back, made a coffee, and about an hour later, and bearing in mind this is a brand new spot, 25 kilos has gone in like 4 or 5 hours ago, and it's March, the water was still freezing. Had a bite. It was mid-40. Obviously, I'm buzzing. I can't believe it's well. In my head, I was thinking this might not work, so find something else to do for it. I'll give it a couple of nights, find something else to do, and then go meet the boys for this shoot.
Yeah.
So I'm buzzing with this fish, and I've just got it in the net, and I'm just sorting some things out to do south takes and everything. And my other rod goes, playing this one in, feels a lot bigger, a lot heavier. Took me ages to land. I'd say like a good 30, 35 minute fight.
Yeah.
And then eventually netted this fish. I remember when it came up and its face just turned like that, and it had this massive, massive mouth. And my tiny little 15mm pop-up was just hanging out of it. I got in the net and I was like, oh, that's... Obviously, it's next to a 45-pound common at this 45-pound mirror at this point. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, that's a lot bigger than 45 pounds. And that one turned out to be 61, which on my this is also quite interesting, because on my way there, where I'd caught my target fish and it was so early in the year, I was like, oh, I'm going to set another target for the year now, because I've kind of done what I wanted to do. And I was like, 60-pound common. I've not had a 60-pound common before, so that'll be my new target. And then first night again,
24 hours.
Yeah. So over the moon with that. I was like, I can't believe this has happened. Like, just turn up at this lake. Even Samir's not fished it for a while. He said it's probably a good spot. Might be worth fishing for a couple of nights. Didn't have anything for the rest of the day. And I thought, right, I'm going to do the same thing again. So I went out, put another 25 kilos out. Same thing, first light, got rods out. And exactly the same time the next morning when I had the first bite, I had another bite. And again, it's feeling like massive, really, really big. Playing it for ages. Net it, and I'm looking at it going, that's even bigger than the one yesterday. Like that, it must be a long fish or something, like with a wide back. It must not have a belly or something, because that looks enormous. And I'm rolling it on the side going, it's full as well. And then weigh that one in the air, it was 64 pounds. So that was
mad, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was just one of those moments where, like, I wasn't expecting to go on have that session at all. You're there by yourself. I really like sometimes when you're doing those sessions by yourself and it goes well, and I don't know, I really buzz off being by myself, having those captured by myself. And I'd say looking back at my highlights, I think that morning, what happened was when I got the rods out, I'd slipped in as well. So I was in my bag when I'd got the bite in my pants, because because my joggers were wet. So I've just got this image. I've got this image in my head of me in my pants in this park lake in France with this 64-pound in the net, just cheering like that to myself. And when I look back over the year, that's definitely a highlight.
Wait, that's epic as a bonus session to catch a couple of 60s. Yeah, that is pretty special, mate. I'll give you that. And I remember it was early, wasn't it? Because it was horrible back here, the weather.
Yeah. I mean, there's no leaves on the trees or anything. It was those first couple of days where you get a bit of sun. I remember sitting like during the day and having the sun come through and being like, oh, it's been months since I felt this. So yeah, and that kick-started a really nice spring. So I think that's my favourite moment.
Good highlight, mate. Very, very strong highlight of the year, 260-pounders. Mine is definitely not 260-pounders. My highlight of the year, Henry Lennon, would be Westmore Farm Fishery with my nippers and my missus fishing out of a luxury lodge.
Nice.
Mate,
that's
honestly,
good, yeah.
I expected it to be complete carnage. You got, like, my kids, little man who's 2 is mental. The girls are pretty sensible. I've got the dog, Laura's there. I thought, it might be quite testing at times. It was mega. We caught a few mega ones. We got some lovely pictures together. The girls had a go. Laura reeled some in. It was your typical, as Blair-esque family fishing.
Yeah,
picture
nice.
Perfect as you could get, mate. Bit of dodgy weather, bit of rain, but you take that. Got the little gazebo up. We had a lovely time, mate. It was a little hot tub. I can genuinely say, as highlights go, I enjoyed that. It was relaxing. It was a bit of fishing. It was everything spot on.
Did the kids like the fishing?
Yeah, they had a go, mate. Sometimes, like, you don't want to push them into it. They see it all the time. I'm in the office in the house. They talk about fishing. They say we want to go, and we always go, but for like 10, 15 minute little short bits, so you don't burn it out. But this was like 4 nights, and I'm thinking they're going to get bored of this and hate it. Loved it. Camping outside, putting the old stove on, cooking, sleeping in the bivvy, the whole works. Immersed on it. Yes, there was a hot tub. Yes, it weren't ultra carpy, but hey. They cranked a few in. They had a lovely time. I had a good time. We got some lovely family memories. That is as much as a highlight as I can remember. It's spot on. I was not pleasantly surprised. I didn't think it would be a nightmare, but I thought it could be a bit testing with a load of kids in a small environment and the fishing. But now, mate, it was mega. I'm going to do more of them, I think.
Have they asked to go back since?
I think we're going to do France, mate.
Really?
We're going to go and we got some mates spread out. We got a few trips planned, a few places, but I think in amongst it, we're going to duck away and do...
There's a lot of places now that have got like those... Dino went to one with his family where it's like a really nice like French sheet, and then you've got like the swimming pools and everything, and a bit of fishing there. Like, yeah.
Mate, it's there.
Perfect,
do you know what I mean?
I think the whole... Even not the fishing, it's like the whole camping outside, that sort of thing that they really like as well.
Yeah, I like it, mate. They're young, aren't they? You're enthusiastic, and you see that little spark in them, and you think, let's hope it turns into complete compulsive carping, and then I can go for the rest of my life. But yeah, mate, that is definitely my highlight. We're going to move on to capture of the year. You've hinted at it, your target, mate. Talk to me.
Yeah, so normally I set a lot of targets when I'm fishing, and it's not because I'm like... it's not because I'm always like chasing things. I can only appreciate things because like it's a certain weight or it's a certain fish or whatever. But I think it does give you a bit of direction in your fishing, and then obviously you can enjoy the journey along the way. So that's why I always set targets. But this year I didn't set too many, because I was a bit like, after the previous year, I don't know how I'm gonna
top it.
So I was like, I set a couple, but don't. Normally I'll have like 5 or 6 that I want to try and do. I set 2 this year. One was to catch a mirror from a park lake not too far from here. That was my UK one. And then my European was I wanted to catch a 50-pound canal carp. So I'd planned pretty much most of my year around these short, like 4-nighters over into Europe where I could fish these canals, because a lot of the canals, they're not far from Calais. Like, they're 2-3 hours. They're good canals. Like, it's good for a long weekend to go, and they've got I wanted a 50-pound carp in there. So, like I said, I planned all the year around this time of year. I planned what I was going to do, and the first trip was for this French show, and my plan was to go over, go a day early, do a night on this canal that I know's got a 50-pounder in, go and do the show, and then go back. Obviously, you had to bait a few spots, done a bit of groundwork, and then go and fish there until I met up with the guys for the main shoot. So I drove after work, got to the canal about midnight-ish. Like I said, it was still early in the year. I remember it being quite cold and almost like rain turning into sleet. And I got out, head torch on, and it's about 2 miles, 1.5 miles. So I walked one side, walked the other, and normally you can find them with the mega light.
Yeah, lamping them.
But because of the rain that had come in, it coloured the water a little bit. So I was really struggling to see anything. And I'd gone up one side, and was coming back the other side, and I was about to get back to level with the car where I'd have to cross the bridge and basically do the whole stretch. And I was thinking, I've not seen anything. Like, I'm quite surprised I've not seen anything. Normally, there's not loads in the stretch, maybe 30, 40, but normally you'd see a couple of them. And just as I'm about to come level with the car again, I just see one just little shape just coming out of like this murkyish water. That's like, well, that's good enough for me. It's like 1, 2 o'clock at this point. Like, let's get some rods out. I'm tired. Get my head down. So, barreled my gear out, got a couple of rods out, put my bed chair up against the alongside the hedges on the towpath, and got to sleep. And about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I have this bite, and I'm using the little 6-foot rods, which I do for the canal, because it's just easy, because with all the cars driving down and the cyclists, it's just nice because you've got to have them like sideways. It's nice they're really compact and easy. And I always find it really difficult to tell how big a fish is on those 6-foot rods, because after they get over like 20 pounds, you're reaching maximum compression on them, and you can't really gauge anymore. Like, after 20 pounds, you know, when you've got a good one on a proper 10 foot to 13
Yeah.
foot rod. And when they're really good, you can start feeling the strain coming down into the butt. But that happens so quickly on a 6 foot rod that it's after £20, you can't really tell how big they're going to be. I was playing this one and it wasn't like a big fight either. I could tell it was going to be 20, 25, 30 pounds. And it rolls, and there's a few street lights near a little bit further down, and just as it rolled into the net, I just caught a glimpse of the scale pattern, and one of the 50s, there's two 50s in that stretch at the right time of year, and one of the ones that I think can go 50 is a linear. And I saw when it rolled in, I was like, that looked like a linear there. That really did look like a linear. I didn't have my head torch, so I quickly went back to underneath my bed shade, grabbed the head torch and shined it on. I lifted up this fish, and I was like, yeah, that's the one. That's the one I planned all year, like my whole year around trying to catch. Within 2 hours, caught it. And initially I was a little bit worried because Mikey Barnes has actually caught that one.
Yeah.
Mikey Barnes has caught that one. It's from a stretch that I fished with Alan before. I told Mikey Barnes about it. He went and caught it, but he caught it right after spawn, and he didn't have scales when he caught it, and he was like, I think it was like 44, 45. But then I've had some European guys tell me that it's the big one, and it's 49, 50, 51. I was like, I'm going to weigh it now, because if I wait till the morning, it might lose like half a pound, like they sometimes do. And I was like, right, I'm going to weigh it now, because I think if it is 50, it will just be 50. And I weighed it, £50, 2 ounces, and I was just there laughing to myself, going, I can't believe it. Cannot believe I've caught it. That's probably my favourite capture. Single capture.
No more bites. Did you?
I was done. I drove down to the show. Like I had a little walk up and down, but I was like, the other big one I'd caught before at a lower weight.
Okay.
So there was nothing really left in there. Like, it's a really, really nice stretch, really, really fun. But I was kind of like, I've caught the big ones now. I went and had a look at the stretches either side, just as groundwork for the future. But I had to go down to the show in France.
Yeah.
So I was like,
what
sweet.
a touch, mate.
Job done. Yeah. And then
£50.
Yeah. And then funnily, this just, I mean, the three stories I told is, I don't know whether it's luck. They've all been caught on the new bait as well, these stories I'm saying.
Have they?
So I don't know if it's how good this new bait is. It's definitely not skill. It's either luck or the new bait. It's one of those two. But the other one, the other target I had was a month later from this park lake.
Yeah.
I went down, I'd been baiting it for a couple of weeks. And when I started baiting it, my target fish got caught like pretty much the day before I started baiting it. So I was like, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bait some little areas where I think it might be sulking. Like, I don't think it would be in the normal areas because it's just been caught. I think it would be go hiding somewhere. So I baited a couple of areas for that one. First session down, I went down. It's a bit of a walk from the car park, so I brought some loads of stuff that I was going to stash in the woods so that I could be well carpy and just shoot down and not have to bring everything every single time. Got everything set up, rods out in this, like I said, this little position where I thought no one's really going to be fishing here. Like, it probably won't do a bite, but if it does, it might be the big one where it's been sulking. And 2 hours within getting the rods out.
2 hours?
2 hours, I'd say. I think I got down there because I've been at my mum and dad's, got down about 9. And I think I had the bite about 11 o'clock at night.
How big was that?
It's only up at 30, it's 37.
Well, that's still mate.
But yeah, so my three targets if you count the £60 common.
Yeah.
All caught
in the space of what?
2, 3, 4 hours.
Well, that's one mad start to the season.
Yeah, but that was a good start.
Take that, mate.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, mate, that's epic. Couple of 60s, target, and then back home for a target as well. Woohoo! Lennon on fire, mate.
What about you?
It's a good start to the season.
I've seen some real nice ones from you this year.
Nice ones, not big ones. I'd have to say, it's hard to stick it to one capture. I'd have to say probably that Grenville biggin. Only because I'd never been to Grenville. I did a podcast with Paul Bacon, obviously, and I was very fortunate. Shout out to Paul Ward as well for letting me on. Mate, I can't thank you enough. But it's everything everybody had ever said. Like, I got there and it's just absolute units clattering out everywhere. And I was like, this is mental. And like, you don't expect that it's, you know what I mean, that it's going to sort of kick off or you'll catch them. You're not really sure. But I went heavy with loads of bait, fished over it. And I think in 24 hours, had 4 takes, nothing under £38.
It's mental, isn't it?
So 46. And I think most in all the 40s I've had over the last 2 or 3 years have all been shy of like £43. They've all been like 42, 43, 3, 40, and that was 46. That's the first one north of £45 I've probably had in 2-3 years.
Right.
And I was just, mate, the fishing was unbelievable. The company was unbelievable. It was like the most positive bait fishing you could possibly do, as in like boily, fishing big hinges over the top. And all 45 banners can hold their own in terms of weight. You know what I mean? You feel them, they don't normally do a lot. They're normally just big, heavy, sort of slow fights, isn't they? There, I don't know if it's the oxygen in the water because it gets loads of winds on it. I don't know if it's the depth because I was catching them probably in about 15, 17 foot of water. I don't know what it was, but of all the scraps I've had, even like I had a nice linear that was like low 30, that, like every single one of them looked like an absolute...
What distances would you have to fish at?
120 at a push. There was basically 2 markers. I didn't fish in the markers, basically. There was one marker to the right. I did have one fish on a marker, which was clear. The others came from the weed, like literally in front, but it's all bait. Right. I mean, they were showing, I'm trying to think, like anything from 100 yards to like 180. They were showing in that band of water just everywhere.
What?
It was mad.
What's the stock? How many 40s do you think they've got?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Paul knows, and this is what I'm going to nail him to a podcast, and we've got an agreement. But he's got everything documented. So the fish, the 46 that I caught, I don't think it'd come out for a year or so at all. And you're like, how does it avoid coming out with that much angling, that much bait? But he's got every single fish pretty much charted on there. The amount of 40s is ridiculous. Paul, who I was with, Paul Bacon, the amount of 40s and 50s he's had in a year is just obscene. And also in there, I mean, there's definitely a British record in there.
It's got to be.
As we speak.
I said Roger Bacon caught a new 60 this year, didn't he? Yeah. Gasper's going over.
Mate, he'll have it.
Yeah.
And he'll have it.
He just says to me, bro, they think they fish far, I fish far. And he's going to absolutely smack it. I think Gasper's going to catch loads.
Mate, he will, definitely. Yeah. But it's just, it's not like fishing in this country. Do you know what I mean? It's completely like... Yeah, mate. Shizaki, all those where it's bait, big carp. It's that type of fishing. That's what I can
think of. I think that's one of the few places in Europe, in England where a type of European angler will come over and they'll do better than the English anglers. I really do. I think if you get those Croatian distance, those like from the Balkans, I think if you get those guys over, I think they'll catch even more.
Oh, mate, if you can bait and fish long there, this time of year
just started on it as well, hasn't he?
Pecky's battered it recently. He's an incredible angler, isn't he? Like, he's going to, and he can fish long. But I think this time of year, especially, they are all in an area behind the island, I think, quite long. So if you can fish long and well over bait, you will catch them. They're spread out as the year goes on. But I was blown away by the fishing, the quality of the fish, just it all. So I think if I was put it to one capture, it would be that big one, just because of the magnitude of the fight, big winds coming into you, you know what I mean? And it was an incredible fight. Having Paul there, the owner, Paul Bacon there, that I did the podcast with, that whole thing, yeah, man, it was sick. I'd go back in a heartbeat. Do you know what I mean? Nice. It's unbelievable. Definitely, yeah, mate. One to do. You don't need to go there. You're caught enough big ones anyway.
Not in England. I'd love to go there. Get me on the next one.
Yeah, mate.
I'll be the runner.
Runner. Funniest moment. Oh, that's hard.
Oh, there's so many, isn't there? So many at Nash.
Well, there's not many you could broadcast.
That's the issue. I'd say I had a good one with Dan at the start, very, very start of the year. We went over to for the Den Bosch show in Holland.
Yeah.
And we were being all well ego and excited for the year ahead. So we decided to go fishing. Stupid idea. Like, it was freezing cold, freezing cold. You're spending all day setting up a show. You're like, I don't know why we didn't just get a hotel, but anyway, we're driving around the Dutch countryside trying to find a lake to fish, basically, and one that hadn't frozen because a lot of them were freezing over. It was that cold. At one point, the police pulled us over because we were driving around all these little country roads, and this is the part of like Holland where they make all the ecstasy tablets. I think they saw these two English vans just driving around all over the place, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to pull these guys over." And They said I was fishing. They didn't believe me for ages. They got me to get everything out and show them. But anyway, that was just the start of it. And we eventually found this lake that we could fish on the free license. It had a bit of depth to it. It wasn't freezing. So we're like, okay, right, yeah, let's fish here. Dan says to me, he's like, on the right, you can park down there. So just pull up and park on the right. So I go, and I can see on the right-hand side, there's a ramp going down to sort of near towards where the swim was. So I go down there, go down this slope, and I get to the bottom of this slope, and I'm like, that was just grass the whole way down. And so I get out and go, are you sure this is where we're supposed to park? And he goes, nah, at the top here, this is where I meant. There's some like hardcore down, like you can park in. I was like, all right. And I was just looking at it going, oh, that looks a bit difficult to get out of. I was like, I'll deal with it in the morning, it'll be fine. Anyway, we get rods out. It started snowing later. So we get rods out, freezing cold, like, you know, when you can't feel your fingers anymore. Get bivvies up, get bed chairs out, get into bed. It's like 2 a.m. at this point. I'm thinking, why have we done this? Like, this was not a smart move. Go to sleep at about 4 a.m. I just wake up to just like this pattering, really light pattering on my bivvy. Thinking, oh, what's that? I stick my head out and it's snowing quite heavily. I'm just like, oh, that'd be cool if we catch one for snow shot. And then just I'm like going back to sleep, I think, van. And in my head, I'm like, we ain't getting this van out if it snows. Like, I was dubious before, like, we're definitely not getting out if a foot of snow comes down, which it looks like it could do with how much it's coming down. So I'm contemplating for 10 minutes. Eventually, go, no, I've got to wake Dan up. We got to try and get this out. So I go and wake Dan up. He's like all bleary eyed. Didn't really know what's going on. I'm like, we got to try and get my van out now. If we don't try now, it's not going to happen. So get in the van, put it in reverse, and not only does it not even go up the slope, it doesn't even go along the flat bit up to the slope where I parked. It just dug in. Wheels are spinning. I'm going all over the place. I'm not moving at all. I'm just tearing up the grass all around me. And me and Dan just sort of look at each other, and I'm like, well, I don't really know what to do here. And he's like, well, what can you do? It's 4 a.m. It's snowing. Like, we'll just have to, just going to have to leave it, basically. So we pack up in the morning. I'm trying to think of what to do. I'm asking all the Dutch team who are there, saying we've got any mates who live around here who can
tow us out.
Yeah. And also, how are they going to tow us out? Like, I'm going to need a tractor. Does anyone know a farmer who can come and help me? Anyway, we're trying to think of this all for ages. I'm just like, Dan's just laughing his head off. I'm just sat there going, what an idiot. Eventually, one of the field testers for the Dutch team's mates got a 4x4, and he comes and tries to help me out, and he shows up in this 4x4, and I don't think he could have got out without having to tow me out from down there. Like, I don't think it would have been up to the job. And he starts just walking around, breaking all these sticks and shoving them under, and he's like, yeah, this will help. And I'm like, it's not like a little hole. Like, honestly, I'm dug in, and it's a gradient we got to get up. So he starts like sticking all these sticks underneath the wheels. He starts attaching the tow rope to pull me out, and I felt so bad for him at this point because he's pushing the van. And he goes, yeah, go. And as I go, the wheels spin, the sticks fly everywhere, and the mud just flies up this guy, and he's covered in it. I'm like, fucking hell, I've only just met this guy. He's doing me a favour, and I'm just absolutely covered in mud. And for ages, I'd say for 2 hours we're there, and like
nothing.
No one's got a clue what to do. I don't know what to do. Marco's with me from the Dutch team, who's this mate with this guy. He doesn't know what to do. The guy doesn't have a clue. He just keeps getting more and more sticks and stuck in them. And I was like, the stick idea ain't going to work, man. I think I put my Instagram story, does anyone know how to get out? And everyone was just saying things like yeah, put sticks underneath, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, none of this is going to work. Like, it was in deep. I mean, I teared up this grass as well. If the Dutch council or whoever...
Still there?
No, what happened in the end was some guy came past in an Audi, and again, I was like, there's no way that he's going to pull me out. No way. And he's like, yeah, it'll be fine, no problem. And he attaches it from the top of the road where the road is. So we got really, really long tow line.
Yeah.
And he just guns it, and he pulls me out like it was nothing.
What's he got?
Just like an Audi,
R8.
like Q, whatever they are. Like those little 4x4, like
Q3.
Like football mum drive. Like, I could not believe that this car pulled me out of it. And we spent ages there, and this guy who came to help was just like shivering, covered in mud.
Oh, bless him.
I felt awful for him. So bad. At the end, I was like, I think he stopped carp fishing because I was like, do you want some boilies? Like, to say thank you. He's like, oh, no, I just fish for Xander now. And I was like, I ain't got anything for you. I'm afraid, mate.
Get out of my way.
But yeah, that was, looking back, that was quite a good one. But Dan, I think, found it very funny at the time. I was so stressed out.
You just want to get out.
It got me out of setting up the show because I spent the whole day trying to find someone to. Me and Marco Marco especially was loving it because we didn't have to do the setup because we just spent the whole day trying to get out of this.
That's an edge, mate.
Trying to get out of the mud, but yeah, that was. I can't believe that was only a year ago. It feels like a long time ago. But it was just the feeling when I looked out and just saw this snow coming down. I was like, oh yeah, cool for a catch shot if we get one. And then I clocked. I was like, oh, we ain't getting out.
Oh, Van Drum. What would an overseas trip be if it went all smooth, mate?
I'm normally all right, to be fair. Like normally they're okay. That was a rare one, but it's what we get for trying to fish in like -6 degrees, I think it was.
Yeah, that was a weird decision.
Stupid idea.
You should have just gone Xander fishing somewhere.
I've just gone into the hotel and had a beer and chilled with everyone. I don't know what we were thinking.
Yeah, you were thinking snow shots is what you're thinking.
That's what we were thinking.
Mine is a belter, mate.
Go on.
He's going to hate me for this. Rob Theobald.
Okay.
Berners Hall.
I think I know this.
This is incredible, Henry. I just hope I can do this story justice. Forget Terry Earn and the Dustbin and Heather and Mary, mate. This is the one. We're at Berners Hall. We're with Alfie. We're filming an episode of The Drop. It is early. Too early, really, to be doing a spring piece on pop-up fishing. First morning, we've woke up, absolutely ridiculous frost on the ground, right? High pressure, it's bleak, right? We're all thinking this is going to be a struggle of a shoot. A week later, the weather's very different. It looks bang on. Spring, there's loads of big uns in Berners, everybody knows. We've got to try and catch them on pop-ups, but the weather's not with us at all. First day, I think I've caught a little one. Alfie's caught...
Catfish, didn't he?
Alfie hooked the catfish 3 times in one night. No joke.
I bet he lost his head.
No.
Did he not?
No. That would have been the funny story, and I was thinking it. I'd caught, and when I mean a little one, I mean a 4-pounder.
From Berners?
From Berners,
Oh,
right?
my
In the
God.
morning, a 4-pounder, fully scale thing. Even got a photo of it with the frost behind, okay? That's first light. Slip that back. This is how bad it's got. We filmed that because we think this is
You know it's a tough shoot.
You know it's a tough shoot.
Did you get like all the B-roll shots of it, water going over
We didn't
it
quite
as well?
go that
Okay,
far,
right. That's
no.
when you know it's a tough
It was
shoot.
proper cold. Whapped him back. But then in the night, Alfie he'd hooked it 3 times at the same range. Like he was fishing quite long from like swim 1 or 2, and he'd hooked it. And to start with, I was like, "That's a carp. That's a big carp," as you do. And then when it starts shredding you at like 120 yards, you realise it ain't.
Yeah.
And each time he's come back after like a 20-minute battle, hook length sheared, and it's just full of slime. So it's
He didn't land it then?
No, they go to 80, 90 pounds, don't they? He didn't ever get it back this side of 100 yards. It just held out there, did him round the back of the island, and then eventually sheared through his hook length. It was brutal, but he didn't lose his head. We were having a good laugh at his expense, and we got some great mobile phone sort of clipped up videos. But he's getting battered by this cat, which really liked him. It was always on his zig rod as well. It was always on his zig rod. Anyway, job done. Second, I don't know, middle of the day, bright sunshine, been freezing cold. It's thawed the frost. I've whipped my rods in after that little one and said I'll put a couple of spoms of corn out and just leave it. Done that. Rested the swim. I've whacked three of my rigs straight back out onto where I fed all this corn, just little yellow hook baits. Yeah, I think I was on little Ronnies, or I might have been on little hinges. They're out there. As I've put the third one out, one of the rods has picked up and gone. I've gone, bloody hell, boys, no way. Middle of the day, bright as you like. No one's catching. I've lifted into it. I've gone, feels like a good one. I'm playing it. Rob and that are in Alf's swim. I've called him over. Alf's come over. I've played it out, netted it. It's a 37-pounder. And I'm thinking, oh my God, mate, that'll do the shoot because we are struggling like hell here. I'm relieved. Everybody's had a little bit of a buzz. Anyway, I've got it out, done the usual pickup, done all the spiel about what we're talking about, happy days, whatever. Fish has gone back. I'm sitting in my bivvy just having a moment where I'm thinking, oh, mate, honestly, I didn't think that was happening. We were in the depths of despair thinking this is going to be no shoot to thank God, right, this has happened. I'm just sitting there, and then Rob, I've just twigged, and Rob is I call him the mongoose because he's always like, he's a bit flitty like a squirrel when he's like really like that's just his personality. He's busy, mate. He's like handsy, and he's always like this. Anyway, like I just see like not a Rob walk towards me. It was like a really like not very active. It was like a very sort of, I don't know, his body language was very sort of still, and he just his feet were moving, but none of the rest of him was, which normally it is. He started to walk towards me out the corner of my eye. I twigged him, and his face was just bright red, and he looked absolutely filled with panic. And I was like, whatever he's coming over to tell me here is not good. And he's gone, I've given all my cards to Josh, and the fish ain't on there. And I was like, what? And he sat down, I'll never forget this, he sat down at the bottom of like my bivvy on the floor, right, and he goes, well, that's it. I'm going to hand him a resignation. I'm going to call it.
Fucking hell, Rob. If you're not in the media team, you've not formatted a couple of cards before.
Mate, he's gone, that's it. I'm done. What else can I do? And I was like, whoa, hold on a minute. I was like, have you checked through all the clips? Because I remember you having the camera. I remember hearing the do-do-do-do of your camera. I remember it being on. And he was like, I've looked through all the clips. I've given them to Josh to check, and I cannot find the fish. And I was like, well, don't worry about it, mate. Like, it is what it is. Like, we all lose stuff. We can always refilm it. I was trying to, like, reassure him, but at the same time thinking, we're not going to catch another
You can't always refilm it. It's gone back.
No, it's done, mate. It's done. The shoot is over. You've basically had a mare. I'm thinking, and he's sitting there going, well, that's it. I've had a really good career. And all that.
Oh, Rob.
It's got really deep.
Poor Rob.
Right, and I'm sitting there. I'm not laughing at him because I'm like, oh, no. Like, we've had a piece here. It would have worked nicely. Unfortunately, mistakes happen. I've got the easy job. You've got very much the hard job, Rob. Anyway, a couple of minutes later, I've sat him down, made him a coffee. He's in my bivvy. And I've just walked over to Josh, right? And I've gone, Josh, has he lost that? And he's gone, I think so, mate. There's no clips here. And I said, have you checked all those clips? Like that. And he's gone, yeah. I said, do me a favour, like, just give him another check for me. Get him with you and like sit down and just go through them. If they're not there, they're not there. But just, I remember him pressing the camera, do it. So anyway, Rob's taken his coffee, taken Josh's over, gone over, and I've just heard the biggest yell in the world from him going, yes! And he went, instead of stopping and starting filming, he just rolled for ages. So the last video was like a 10-minute, instead of it being like a 2-minute clip with me with a fish, it was all the way from netting the fish through to me lifting it out all in one clip. So he thought he missed it off. And mate, the relief in that boy's face. And then for the rest of the day, I just absolutely shredded him saying, resignation. That's the old resignation.
As if he said, I'm going to resign over
Mate, he was gone. He was left.
Now we wouldn't have any videographers left if that was the standard to get rid of them.
Honestly,
Jesus.
Mate, absolute belter. And to this very day, I love the man. He is an incredible camera. He's an incredible bloke. Genuinely, those shoots are so much better for me being out with him and Josh as well. But, mate, that instance I will never let him forget because it's the most incredibly funny, the biggest reaction you could ever get, mate. I'm leaving. That's it.
That's
it's
so
done.
over the top.
I'm gone.
So
sorry, Rob, mate. I had to tell the people, but it's incredibly funny.
That was a good ending, that one.
Yeah, mate. He got it. We've got a video out. It's the Burners Hall drop video. We're in there. Right. Toughest moment. Oh, mate. Toughest moment of the year.
This is the one I didn't really think about.
I'm going to say this edit of this podcast, mate. It's going to be the toughest moment of my year.
There's going to be a lot of cutting out of isn't there, where people have just been thinking.
Yeah, or people saying, it was that social in...
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, you can't put that in there.
Exactly.
I tell you what, it's probably... and it's probably just because I've just come out of it, but I'd say the period from start of September until about the last week, just staying on top of work. It's been a lot of like 1 week, 10-day shoots, coming back, trying to cram 3 weeks of work into a week, going away again. And not that it's been, I hate saying this because it makes you seem like, you're complaining about what is technically the best job in the world in my eyes, but it has been tough in terms of just staying on top of things, staying motivated more for the office side of things. I'm always motivated for the fishing side of things.
Yeah.
But coming back and knowing you've got 400 emails to answer, and that you go away again in like 3 or 4 days, and they've got to be done in that time frame, otherwise you're going to be behind. And then you've got to answer. Then you're open to that. Well, can you do the fishing and the work side of things at the same time? Like, is it possible? So, I'd say that's been the toughest part, and it's been nice this past week. I was saying to Jacob, obviously I see Jacob all the time. I've not seen him for a couple of weeks because our last shoot was middle of November. Yeah. Alps.
Oh yeah,
Alps. Middle of November, and then I've not seen him since then. So it's probably the longest we've gone all year without seeing each other. And I said to him, I was like, "Oh mate, it's just been nice, like just not being able to sleep more than like 5-6 hours a night, and knowing that you can just do it. You're gonna be in like a warm bed every night, and yeah, it's been quite nice. Just a little chill period since, but yeah, I think near the end of that, at the start, you're always G'd up for it, and you can't wait, and I do like staying busy, but it starts to get more and more difficult the longer it goes on, and because it was quite a long period of it. I think that this last run-in of the year was probably my toughest moment. But quite an easy life, really, if that's my toughest moment, isn't it?
No, mate, it does catch up, though, doesn't it? Over the course of a year, that's a lot. Do you know what I mean? And I think you do get to a point. Weather turns and light gets
it's
dark.
It's the weather. That's what it is.
Miserable,
it's definitely
isn't it?
the weather, yeah.
It can be pretty minging. Fair play. Ambitions and targets for next year.
Your toughest moment?
I think I don't think I've got a single moment. I think my toughest moment would be, is genuinely one of these a week, because they come around so quick, a deadline. It's like, boom. But I think overall, it's the balance of like kids, home life, fishing, the lifestyle that comes with fishing and filming, being away. And then it was a weekly deadline as well. It's the balance of all that mate. That's definitely always tough. Not bad tough, because you're doing a brilliant job that you really enjoy doing, and you enjoy that lifestyle, and it is part of it. But it is still challenging at times to balance all that. I think that would be mine. I don't think there's a single moment where I've been like, not this year, where I've been like, this is tough. Do you know what I mean? I think it's been just that over the course of the whole year.
Yeah. Like you say, it's that balancing, isn't it? It can get quite difficult. I mean, you've got a young family thrown in as well.
Yeah, everyone's got different stuff. It's just maintaining that where everything works. You know what I mean? Or just full-time Terry Earnett on the bank, mate.
Fuck it. Yeah, let's do it.
Ambitions and targets for next year.
Okay, I've got them written down.
Tinder. I thought you were going on there. My ambition is level 42.
So what I've done this year is, like I said, normally I have more. Last year I didn't, and I completed all of them by about April. So this year I've gone for a couple more. So where are they?
I love the fact you've got them written down in your notes.
Mate, I'm on it like this. This is how I am. Got to have it written down and planned and organised. So first one is like a good UK river carp.
What's that? What's the benchmark? 20?
25. If it's like 22, 23 and it's a nice mirror, then that one will slide in. So yeah, good UK river carp. That's my UK one. I want to catch a Euro River 50.
Wow.
So now I've got a 50 from a lake, river, canal.
Yeah.
I'd like to catch another 30 kilo carp. So 66 pounds. Another one of them. I want to catch my 50th public 40.
Okay.
So I'm on 33 at the moment. I want to catch number 50. And then the last one is to catch a carp from a belly boat.
From a belly boat?
Yeah. You know, like you see the...
like a float tube.
Yeah, like float tube. I want to catch one from a belly boat.
But not on a fly rod?
I don't know. There's a clip going around at the moment of one of our Dutch guys on the Dutch team catching one from a fly rod. Don't think I'm going to... That'll be maybe the year after. But I think that there'll be... I think there's a few places on the Chalmer where you can catch them like bread bombing. And where it'd be better to be on a belly boat where you can get into all these little areas. So that's one of my targets. Yeah, I've nearly bought one, but Blair's got a couple, so I was looking at them the other day. He showed me them, and I think when the river season's open, that's what my plan's going to be.
Belly boat dreams, mate. Sounds like a good one, to be fair. I don't know what my ambitions are. It's difficult. I think what I have got to do is beat my surface PB.
Oh, yeah.
Which is £36, 7 ounces.
No, don't just say beat. £40 off the top.
Oh, that's hard.
It's hard.
It? I'd have to actively, consciously make an effort.
Where do you think you can do it?
That's the
it's
thing.
hard, isn't it?
It's a £40 off the top. There is one local to here that, again, Mr. Theobald has told me about, that could be doable.
Really? Okay.
Apparently, this is coming all from Rob, that it likes one off the top and that's a way to
I'm
catch
trying to
it.
think where you might be thinking of.
I can't
Chigborough?
say. No.
So,
But I don't know if there's a 40 at Chigborough.
well, I've caught that one off the top, but just not long after spawning, it was 34. But it will go 40, 41.
We'll
It
see.
does love a mix. I'm trying to think where. I'll ask you after. You're not going to tell
There's
me.
that one. I can't really say
Did Rob,
it,
when he gave it
can
to
I?
you, say, don't tell Henry?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I get that quite a
I
lot.
can tell you, though.
Okay, good.
That's fine. But I
Lucky
can't
Rob.
say this
Yeah.
out, and that'd be a bit harsh, wouldn't it? But there's and there's a couple of other places that potentially could do, well, maybe not a 40, but maybe a 38. Do you know what I mean? A decent. That's
40.
good enough, mate.
40. Say 40.
Well, we'll see.
No
We'll
one
see how
cares.
it
What's the
goes.
difference between a 36 and a 38 off the top? No
Well,
one
it's just
cares.
got to beat my
But
PB,
40.
really. Let's go progressively bigger. That, and then, that. And then just do it again, mate. Do the same as I've done this year, mate. Put one of these out a week, keep enjoying stuff, and, be happy, mate, I think. They're the ones, but I think that floater, PB out, when did I catch that, mate? I'm 38. I caught that when I was 20. I must have been 22. That's a long time,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That needs to be beaten.
Yeah, that's a big fish off the top, though. They're hard once they get older. They're a lot harder on the top, aren't they?
I don't do it enough. There's just the opportunity
I've had a
to do
crap
it.
year this year. I think I've caught like 3 carp off the top this year. Normally I'll have like 40, 50. But this year I barely caught any. I barely gone.
Oh, no, I caught a few on a Total Carp feature at Boonies.
Oh, do they like a mixer there?
Yeah. Definitely so.
I've still not gone there. I really want to go down there. A lot of people tell me good things about it.
I've only fished it that once, but nice, yeah.
Yeah,
really nice
Jacob
fish.
went. He really likes it.
Yeah, he went with him, didn't he, Total Carp?
Yeah, who used to go a bit? Reedy used to go a bit, didn't he?
That's Reedy's yard. It's his manor. They know him.
Really?
Yeah, mate, that's
Lucky for them.
that's definitely the one. Right. 2 big questions to finish up on here, mate.
Mhm.
You're the CEO of the company. It's a natural progression for you, I think. You've got the old Christmas bonus in your hand. Are you giving it to, and why?
You know who I'm going to give it to? This was a bit of a no-brainer for me. Ben Adams. Big Ben.
Oh, Big Ben.
Big Ben. He joined us end of last year, maybe. And he was at Den Bosch. I remember being at Den Bosch. He might have been here. So maybe he's been here 18 months-ish. Up to 18 months. But this year he started doing the shows a lot more and the shop days. And he just graphs. And there was one point where I don't think he'd had a day off because he was doing all the shop days and shows. I don't think he'd had a day off, including weekends, in like 3-4 months. Whenever I'm here, he's here. He always seems to be here before I get here and leave after I get here. He's got the mammoth job of sorting all the show gear out. It seems to be running as smooth as ever. Ben for me. Definitely Ben. He's a very hard grafter.
That is a good call. I'm not going to go for Ben because 2 people have gone for Ben, although Ben deserves it. I am going to give it to Seb.
Seb.
Do you know why?
Go on.
Because that boy has always, when I've come in, been in that office a lot of the time on his own product development. And he just sits there and he
cracks on
and just gets it done. No moans, no nothing. You'll see him when he comes in, has a lovely chat to you. He's caught loads as well. Not that
he's
that's
had a
got anything
good
to do with
year,
it. He's had a great year. But just a lovely bloke. Great hair.
Yeah.
Great choice of lunch every time. Really nice bloke. Nowhere, like, you know what I mean? Just a sound lad and works blinking hard. So, Seb, take it. It's nothing, but take it. Final question. Carp Angler of the Year. Nash, Carp Angler of the Year. You can go for yourself, ain't you?
No. Definitely not. I've got a few special mentions. Again, I wrote them down again.
Oh, my God, this is organised.
Can I do the special mentions? I'm allowed to give... So, my special mentions are... Ollie.
Yeah.
Had a really consistent year, especially the latter half of the year. Been catching them, and he's been catching some real big uns. Like that rainbow fish was a real nice one. Dan is a special mention as well. Are you going to do the podcast with him for this one? Or?
I don't think we'll get hold of him.
He's ill, isn't he? Yeah. So I don't know. You've not seen much of what he's caught.
No, because
he's kept it very quiet.
Yeah.
But what he has caught's been pretty special. So I put him in there as a special mention. Jacob, fished really consistently when I've been away with him. He's caught his target fish over here as well. So he's been on there. Jack Thompson I've put on as well.
Yes.
He caught that linear in London. and he's always catching them. And his fishing, I really think it's cool. Like every now and then we'll chat on WhatsApp and he's telling me what he's up to and where he's going. And yeah, it's really cool fishing.
I see his sit pieces are really good. Isn't they?
Yeah. And he went over to Belgium, caught a couple of nice ones to the canal. So yeah, Jack's caught them and it's been cool fishing. Seb, like we talked about, he started on down on the Manor and he's had quite a few of the 40s out. And then Nick is my last special mention.
Reedy boy.
Because he's in a very limited time, he's caught quite a few from Horton. But my carp angler of the year is Alan.
Is it Alan?
Is Alan because you know why? There's not very often when I go fishing with people and they'll do something where I think like that was amazing what they did there. Like I wouldn't have thought to do that, or he's caught a carp there when I didn't think they were going to catch one, or they've just gone. Me and Jacob talk about this all the time. I think you get to a point in fishing where you're really competent, like you're competent enough to catch them, and that's enough most of the time. Like carp aren't that difficult to catch 80% of the time. So if you're at a level of fishing and they're not in that weird 20% stage where they're really difficult to catch, you'll catch them, and that's enough most of the time. But it's those anglers that can catch them in that 10% of the time when they're really, really difficult. You got to think outside the box, where those like top level anglers shine through. And twice, and it's the only 2 times I think I've gone with Alan this year, when the carp have been in that stage and he's caught. And one was recently when we were in Germany, and one was before on that social. And both times I watched what he was doing, compared it to what everyone else was doing or what I was doing, and was like, I wouldn't have thought to do that. No one else would have thought to do that. He's caught that because he's that level above all of us, or he's that level above me. And that's when I thought he's still the GOAT. He's still the GOAT. So that's why Alan's going to get it. Not necessarily because of anything he's caught, but because when it boils down to it, Alan's still the best.
That's personal insight. I like that. Who have I got to put in that list that you've just given there as special mentions? I've got to put little Todhunter in, my northern sort of younger brother, very much younger. He had a great time at Shizaki. He also caught a load. He caught a couple of 39, 40 pounders with Will, didn't he? When he did that match
off the top. There you go. He caught 43. Let's find out where that was. He caught 43 off the top.
Yeah, there you go. And then he's also had loads from Linear, as he always does. So he's got a mention in there. Dan's already had a mention. He's done well. I have to put Rob in as well. We won't say where Rob's been fishing, but blinking alley.
I've not seen him for a while. I want to have a little catch up about that.
Incredible.
Do you know, I've got a funny story about that place. So
I won't say where it is,
but this place, the syndicate, the rule is if you recommend someone and they get banned, you get banned as well. And there's a couple of people at Nash who have got tickets, and I've asked each one of them to recommend me, and every single one of them said, sorry, mate, if you get banned, we get banned as well, so we can't take the risk.
Yeah, that's great work from them, man.
And when they said that, I was like, yeah, fair.
God, respect that. Maybe when I've done what I need to do, you can have a ticket. I have to shout out Rob. Samir, man, he's had a ridiculous year. Like, he's done it on a bike. He's done it as a normal carp angler, and he's out in Spain. So Samir and Claire I have to shout out. If I had to pick one person, I'd probably have to give it to Ollie, mate. He's had a PB from Rainbow. He's had a fish from Cassian. He started the year with me having a nigh on 50-pounder from the Cotswolds on that drop shoe.
Yes, fucking hell, I forgot that was this year.
So, like, the guy is, and he caught one yesterday at Waterside. Like, the guy is just, I know he's got access, but he's still an incredible angler, and he's had a ridiculous year. So I think if I had to single out one person just purely on captures and just doing it, yeah, man, it's Ollie. Like, he's had a cracking year, but a lot of people have had cracking years.
I was saying that when I was thinking about this before we came in, that we've had a good year, like the Nash boys. Normally, I think it's really stand out who gets it, or there's not so many who have. There might be a couple of people who've had 1-2 nice fish, but I think there's a lot of us this year in that Nash team who have had real good years of like 10, 15 good captures.
Yeah, man,
it's been a really, really good year, and long may it continue.
Mate, it's been mad. It's gone quick, hasn't it?
Yeah, real quick.
We'll be doing this again in a year's time for 2024, mate.
Oh, God.
Mad. But it's been a good year. I think all round everyone's had a good one, which is all we need, mate. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do in 2024, mate. There's going to be some big ones. You'll definitely catch them. That list will go, mate. You'll get that done by March, and you'll be on to something else.
Then maybe come back and do some work in the office.
Off. Thank you guys for watching and listening. I'll be back soon with another podcast. Until then, the very happiest, healthiest, and most prosperous of New Years from me and this man.
Happy New Year, guys.